The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey!
Why?
Let's go!
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for. Ah! The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers, you pig! Stop! Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life.
We want out! We want out! Sport!
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Coach Saban Thursday, October 26, 2023. This sports program starts now. Football! It's happening tonight. Had a baby. There's a new voice in here. Let's just get right to it. Our coach, the people's coach, a man who coached football for 36 years, bought in on the football drop. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Chuck Pagano is here. Chuck, you look good. We appreciate the hell out of you. The Toxic Table is here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. Love the shirt. Little smaller size, showcasing that body on you, pal.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the washer and dryer that might have done that, but it has shrunk a little bit. Yeah, I love the purple. I got a purple phone case in the mail. I saw this purple shirt. I was like, okay, I'm going purple owls today. Might as well.
Yeah, we're all Mustangs here, and that looks beautiful. From what I heard, tomorrow we might have a chance to see something as similar in the beauty landscape whenever it comes to us being in Utah tomorrow at the University of Utah Live with one half of the Hammer, Dahn, Cowboys Tone Diggs. You look great, bud.
Thank you. You look great.
Hey, big one tonight is week 8 of the NFL season kicks off. The Buccaneers, who have already had their bye week, 3-3, go to Western New York to take on the Buffalo Bills. Now, you can get this at 9.5, 9, and 10 across all of the sports books, depending upon what type of benefit or how you fancy. This is an interesting game because this Buccaneers team has outperformed what everybody thought they were going to be going into the season. They got weapons all over the place. They're out an offensive guard, and potentially a defensive tackle is one of the best in the game in Vita Vea, which is a game-time decision. But Baker Mayfield's been playing good ball. And on the other side over there, this Buffalo Bills team, what the hell are they? We have no idea. Josh Allen has had more what are you doing Josh Allen moments in this particular season than we had seen in a couple years in the past. And they're also injury-riddled. Tonight, Dawson Knox is a great tight end for Josh Allen, a weapon of his, a man that he likes to check down to, check out to, and also a guy who's a massive piece of their culture. He'll be out on this. Damian Harris obviously got injured in the past. Trey White got injured. Milano got injured. Nyheim Hines, you remember that in training camp? He's out. Daquan Jones. This team, okay, Poyer missed the game, I think. They've been injury-laden. And they still have all the talent to potentially go on a run, even with all these injuries. But a lot of people are wondering, will they be able to do it? 10-point favorites on some of the books against this Tampa Bay Buccaneers makes me sense that the books think that this Sean McDermott squad is going to bounce back after getting embarrassed by the New England Patriots just 4 days ago. But I don't know if the rest of the world's thinking that. Chuck is 5-2 on these Thursday Night Football picks against the spread. Chuck, whenever you think about this game this evening, kicking off week 8 of the NFL season, what are your thoughts and what should we be thinking about it, pal?
Well, Tampa's struggled to run the ball. And with those defensive tackles, Ed Oliver's a question mark. They might be able to get a little something going. If it's all on Baker, and Godwin and Mike Evans, that's really their offense. Because they got actually, Vaughn and Rashad White, they haven't been able, they struggle to run the ball. So, and then turnovers for Buffalo. If Josh doesn't turn the ball over, you got a shot.
Hey, Buck's got a good defense, though. Buck's got a good defense.
But if Vita Vea's not in there, Greg Gaines is the backup at nose. They can't run up the middle between the tackles if Vita's in there. They're not going to allow him to. Bolsey's not going to allow him to do that. They're going to have to rely on the pass. And 88 turnovers since 2018, most in the National Football League by the quarterback up there, Josh Allen. I love him. Wyoming grad. He's an alum. All of that stuff, right? I hate.
He went to Wyoming.
Yeah.
He's graduate class in 1972.
Yeah. Jersey retired.
Wyoming.
Hey, hold on a second, pal.
Got that wrong.
That's what it was.
It was
68.
That was a tweet. I saw it on
82.
X.
I'm not that old.
1982?
82.
Damn, I was pretty close, though.
Yeah,
I tried to say something obnoxious, and it was like not. It was actually in the in the same decade, same ballpark. 1982 grad of Wyoming. Obviously, Josh Allen has done great things for the Cowboys up there. All right, and that is a good representation of your school, I assume. He's tough.
Yep.
He loves football. He has a lot of talent, but he does have this thing where he just gives the ball to the other team. But on the same note, I think up until like 3 or 4 weeks ago, I don't know how he's keeping track with it, also accounted for like the most touchdowns since he's come in to the NFL as well. It's like live by the sword, die by the sword with Josh Allen. And we've been seeing a lot of die by the sword by Josh Allen this particular year. And I said the other day, I said, they don't have the weapons that they have. And Shannon Sharp was like, excuse me? He started listing off, if Kincaid can get going.
Yeah.
Now, losing Dawson Knox is a big deal.
Tough.
That is a big deal. But anytime you have Stephon Diggs, they got Cook who can really get cooking out there. They have
Gabe Davis.
Gabe Davis.
So maybe they need another weapon.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they're looking for.
Shakir.
Maybe Josh Allen, feels like he has the weight of the world on his shoulder, and they need to relieve him from that. But whatever the case, he needs to stop giving it to the other team.
Yeah.
He needs to realize that not every play is a touchdown play. And I think whenever we've chatted with him, when everybody's chatted with him, they go, Josh, just like some plays, just give it up. It's similar to Andrew Luck, similar type thing to Andrew Luck. And he got hurt more than he gave the ball up. But it was like every single play had to be like a touchdown or we're going to lose this game. It's like for Josh, like sometimes just live to see another day. Take a loss as opposed to throwing it into triple coverage because you think you're able to do something or getting it batted out there in an unfortunate play taking place. It's like I think Josh has that in him because we've seen him go on runs for like 8, 9, 10 games straight. And then all of a sudden these games happen. It's like, Josh, what are you doing? Feels like there's been more of those this year than there has been in the past. Once again, they're very injury-laden through their entire
While you guys were talking about this, I did a little research.
Nice. Appreciate that.
Tampa Bay, number 1 in a turnover margin in game. Number 2 in takeaways a game. So they don't give it away. They take it away.
Ooh.
Could be a story.
Yeah, let's talk about this story. Let's look at the tail of the tape.
Here we go.
Okay, against the spread, this crew over here, 3-3. That crew over there, 3-4. Now, who knows what they would be if they didn't have the bye week and this was equal. Seems like they're on the same exact page. Points per game, Tampa Bay 17.2, the opponent 17.3.
Whoa.
Everybody thinks you need to average over at least 24 to be able to be a winning program, but this is a different NFL season. Speaking of doing that, the points per game for Buffalo, 28.3, the opponent 16.9. I love what we're doing here. Sacks allowed 7, sacks 25. Rush yards per game, 77.8. Rush yards allowed, 128.3. Red zone offense, 71.43 efficiency. That's second in the NFL for the Buffalo Bills. For the Baker Mayfield-led Buccaneers, 22.22%. I'm sorry, on the defensive side.
That's absurd. You know how low that is? That's absurd.
Yeah, that's first in the NFL. That is.
Well, that's because the Falcons kept giving the ball on the goal line.
Yeah, bingo.
You have a couple red zone turnovers that certainly help
negative,
percentages.
Tone.
Yeah, it is very negative, but it's good
It
football.
was in my front of my mind.
Yeah, maybe the
Start that
Falcons.
early. I mean, it's 6 minutes after.
Yeah, well,
He's not
what,
lying.
he wakes up like this. What are you talking about? He woke up this way.
true.
But it does feel like we're in for a good game.
Absolutely.
Like, I think that is, and there's a lot of question marks in this game. And both these teams could potentially be in a conversation later whenever you're talking about everything at the end. Now, will the injury bug stop for the Buffalo Bills? We have no idea. Will the injury bug stop for any team? No. But what they have had to go through, I think, and where they've gotten it, they still have a winning record. Okay, even though against the spread they're not, so people are losing money on them. So that might be the narrative about them as well.
Sure.
If you're losing more money on a team than winning money on a team, you're probably going to be a little bit more negative about them, which is certainly the case. So sports books are kind of dictating how people feel about teams, which is interesting. That is a very interesting little thing that we're kind of stumbling into here in the sports gambling world. But the Buffalo Bills can still go. They have the talent to do it. Maybe tonight is a propel night. And on the flip side, what if Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers remind us of at the beginning of the season? They were much better than anybody thought they were going to be. I'm pumped for tonight on Prime.
Yeah, because I believe Baker is also, he's right underneath Josh Allen in terms of turning the ball over since 2019 or whenever he got in the league. And that's been the big difference this year is he hasn't turned the ball over like, a lot of people thought he might have going into the year, and that's why the Bucs have been successful. If the Bills don't turn the ball over, they should win. I mean, they're 10-point favorites for a reason, but it's just there's something weird about them where it's hard to trust them. There was all that hype going into this year, and it seems like one week they're world beaters, and then the next week anyone in the NFL could beat them. So I think it will be a good game, but I mean, like any NFL game, it certainly seems like whoever wins the turnover battle is going to win the game.
Well, that's the number one stat to look at outside of the score. And then the next one,
What's that?
field position. Tell them.
That's right.
Field position is the third stat you need to look at. Normally the indicator for the winner. Who wins the field position and turnovers, by the way, massive part of that. Because if you're giving the ball over,
Half-court
defense,
offense, full-court defense.
boom, that's how you win games. Tonight, Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit. and Kaylee Hartung will be on the call.
Here we go.
I cannot wait to watch. And Dude Perfect's back.
Not yet, unfortunately.
Why that? No, I saw that thing today.
It was a promo.
We all got tricked
for Black Friday.
Dude Perfect's not doing a simulcast tonight.
They want to get you revved up. They want to give you a couple.
The dudes
weeks.
are back.
Yeah,
Black
the
Friday.
dudes are back in town next Friday, and I believe the Black Friday.
Yeah.
I got a chance to hang out with Caleb and the boys down there at the WWE WrestleMania stage reveal.
Oh, yeah.
You had the time of your life. I remember.
It was so fast. It wasn't. I didn't get a chance to hang out with them
It was
for
quick.
long enough.
Yeah, that's how good their shots are.
Yeah, it's
I was
bummer.
hosting for the WWE. We were going to debut the WrestleMania stage, which is a massive deal.
cool.
And the WrestleMania stages are so sweet. And it was down there in Dallas. And so to do the reveal, Dude Perfect guy named
Tyler.
Tyler.
Yep, it was Tyler.
Good guy. He's the leader of the group. He's the one with the beard there in the middle. He's the one doing electric. He had to throw a football from like second, third level of stadium down there in Jerry World into a bin that was down on the field. And I got a chance to meet them all, shake all their hands, and then we go up there and go, all right, Tyler. And he goes, this is called the WrestleMania stage shot. Here we go, boys. And boom, first one. And thing goes in. They're on their way out of there to do more trick shots. It was fantastic. It was remarkable.
I wish we would have got to talk to him more.
That's what I'm saying. I wish I could have hung out with him for like
Got to
3.5,
know him.
4 hours.
Yeah.
That's what I wish I could have done.
Would have been
Everyone.
sweet.
3.5, 4 hours into the night. It would have been amazing if I would have been able to do that. But instead, it was one shot, and Tyler put that thing
See you later.
dead center. They were a good group of dudes.
Yeah.
I don't know. The barber shop, we got LeBron James,
Yep.
Rich Paul. They
back
do a
to that?
simulcast on Prime. You got the Dude Perfect people. They do a simulcast on Prime. They also had the Stats one.
That one's still pretty cool.
Yeah, that one still
Sick.
goes.
That one is very awesome.
They-
There's a lot on the screen telling you exactly who it is, how it is. I don't know how they're able to do it so fast. Shout out to technology.
Yeah.
And shout out to people who are looking for like exact yardages for bets and I guess fantasy as well, where it's showcasing that on the field in live time. Amazon's doing a good job on these.
Did you see
Thursday
the
nights.
one where I believe it's pre-snap, or it's either there or it's coming, where they are predicting, AI is predicting who is potentially coming on the defense from that play, like before pre-snap, based on stats and
Yeah, they've
averages
run
and work.
like thousands of plays
Yes.
for different defenses, and they're able to predict this. What's that, Connor? You said it.
Sure. I bet they do. Or it's, 6 to 7 seconds delayed.
What?
Whoa!
That's also a
You're
possibility.
saying it's easy to predict whenever you know what's going to happen.
Don't want to sit up here and sound like a bunch of marks, but there is a chance that is a little delayed.
You're
and they
saying,
know.
like, whenever we're watching a golf tournament, those announcers know that the shot that's about to come is a good one?
Exactly.
No
No
way.
idea.
No, they do not.
Exactly.
No, Jim Nance doesn't know when he sends to the 16th hole and it's a
No.
guy we've never heard of from 175 yards out that something great's about to happen.
No.
He has no clue.
Usually you hear the roar of the crowd, but again, neither here nor there. Jim Nance is amazing, and I love the fact that.
Hello, friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez.
And his emotional
You hear
laugh.
this?
Yeah,
Negative 6 minutes in, trying to bury people over there.
12.
Now we're 12 minutes in and he's like, conspiracy, AI doesn't work. Okay,
whoa.
if that's what you want to say.
Yeah.
You think that's a burial? Okay, Jim Nance, this is a burial.
Whoa,
Remember
whoa,
when he was doing March Madness and said, "Okay, guys, see you. I'll see you. Thanks for being my friend." And then the next week we were listening to him.
What are we burying Jim Nance?
I
We're burying AI.
wanted to show an example of me actually saying something negative about someone. I'm not saying anything negative.
There's
about
nothing
the
negative
AI.
to ever be said about Jim Nance.
Come on.
No, AI, though, is certainly something that you were burying there saying is just a delay. They're not able to figure it out. But I do believe that kind of ties into the whole Michigan story. Like
sure.
the whole being able to run things and have computers figure stuff out for you. And even if that technology is, fair, it's out there somewhere.
It is.
And it's like Michigan, could they get a hold of it? Yes. But I do believe like the stats and the way things are tracked in real time and delayed, I guess, giving thing. It's bananas the amount of information you could potentially get from watching a game. And at what point do coaches and, you know what I mean? At what point does that all become like very prevalent on the sideline? Because we would assume there's people already not doing that.
Right.
But there's probably teams taking advantage of these things. I wonder when the NFL, and I guess college football is going to have to kind of address all that, Chuck. What do you think? Cheating?
What are you
talking
guys
about
talking
cheating.
about?
Talking about cheating. Talking about oh yeah. Okay. Bingo.
Yeah.
That's exactly that is exactly
I know
what we're
what you're
talking
talking about.
Hey Chuck, let's talk about you coached for 36 years. Okay, we got Coach Saban on today. We got Coach Artie Smith on today. It's a great coach today. And we got CC Sabathia, Coach Sabathia coming on. It's just a lot of coaches on the program today, and we're very excited about that. But whenever, as a guy who coached 18 years in college and 18 years in the NFL, and this whole story is kind of getting beaten to death, but I would like to hear your take on this entire thing, because obviously you were coaching during Spygate with New England, which is the biggest documented espionage case in football history. I think
we were on the sideline, remember?
There was a fire.
Coach?
Yeah, bingo. Yes.
Coach Fazio and myself.
Bingo. So, like, that's the whole thought of that's the biggest one. So whenever something starts brewing, everybody just automatically assume, oh, this must be what was going on in New England. Whenever you think about that whole situation in New England and now this one in Michigan, what are your thoughts? We've heard Matt Rule talk about this, Coach Rule talk. We heard Coach Sanders talk about this. We heard Coach literally anyone that is at a competitive level and any player that's ever played at a competitive level basically say this is part of the game. But there's like an ethic level. Is that kind of what the big question mark is here about?
It's been going on forever. I remember our backup quarterbacks, by the midway through the second quarter had all the – if you go no huddle and you go tempo, you ain't got time. You got to line up. You got to start signaling on defense. So they had the defensive signals, the coverage. Deion's point was great. You still got to play. You still got to defend the play. They may have this guy, that guy. You still got to stop them. I love Matt's take on the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's been going on forever. Yeah. Guys have been stealing signals, forever. If you can get on the headset, if you go tempo and you get the coverage, like we used to say, hey, Andrew, it's going to be two-man. So I know as a quarterback, right, if he knows it's going to be two-man, he's got the right in his big brain already.
Where are you supposed to go?
So he's absolutely. So you've got the the mismatch, you've got whatever picked out in your mind already. It shows you got too high. Okay, I'm going here.
You have to have a lot of confidence in the person that's deciphering the signs on the sideline, though. So how do you figure out who has that talent and who doesn't?
No, absolutely. There's usually a big brain backup in that room.
And he says, I can do this? Because I assume not everybody can do this.
No.
Weapon.
Charlie White.
And they're not going to throw it out there unless they know. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. Because I hate to be the guy that says, hey, you're getting two-man single high, and the guy's jacking the ball off because it's not two-man.
Whoa, he's jacking the ball off. And he goes, 8-iron, huh? Well, you're fired.
Yeah.
That's what you guys are saying to that particular guy, especially a backup. But I do believe that everybody believes it's a skill. If you can do it and you can get it, that's a weakness of theirs, okay? Just like whenever you sign up your password and the computer tells you, that's too weak.
Yeah,
That's too weak. You got to get a stronger one. Same thing happens with signals coming into the game. It's like if your signals are so damn weak and so easily figure-outable, that's a weakness on your part, and that's bad football on your part. And if we can pick it up, that's good football on our part. The whole ethics thing, though, recording is the level. Is that what it is? Is that whenever that's when coaches and everybody gets
something's
pissed?
going to come out at some point because there's, like you guys said, where there's smoke, there's fire on this deal. Otherwise, they wouldn't be dragging this thing out.
We're kind of a part of dragging it out, though. I will say.
News.
Yeah, stuff is coming.
It's in the sports world, so I mean, we got to. But it is becoming a story that's just continuing to go, and I hope they figure it out quicker. You know what? You know what I would like? I want them to figure it out fast.
Answers.
Because this Michigan team's very good.
Very good.
And these kids do not deserve to have their entire season in which they're playing just saying that they're cheating. Like, that's what's going to happen. Oh, you're cheating. You know why you guys are good? Because you're cheating. You're cheating. You're cheating. It's like, can we get to the level of which they're cheating? Can we find out so that we can maybe not ruin these dudes' run who are in the middle of a great run right now? It's only going to happen once or twice in your life if you end up at a school that has a team. And Michigan, like, for instance, like the run that I got to do at West Virginia, like, I wish it would have ended the way it should have, and massive reason is because of me, but it's like those times are like things you think about forever. Now it's like these guys are incredible. This football team is incredible. And every time we talk about them, what we're going to have to say is, yeah, we don't know how much they know about the other teams and how easy it is for them to execute against teams that they have more talent than, more skill than, more size than, more speed than.
Right.
And they also have their own thing. Like, that's just going to get, I don't think that's fair. You know what I mean? So, like, I think that information should be made public sooner than later so we can either stop talking about it, because if they're just picking up other people's signs and they got a super genius that's able to do it, it's like, that's very normal. And people are watching TV copies of games all over the places to get sounds, to hear what the quarterback's saying, to hear what maybe the sideline's saying. It's like, if that's just TV copy stuff and they're doing it, we got to move on. And we need to not ruin this run that this team is on, because this might be the best team in the country
Yes.
right now. And it's like, if it isn't, though, if they are cheating, we would like to know because we like to say, well, that's why you guys are the best team in the country right now. I mean, it's just like I feel like the information should come quicker for all parties' benefit, but I doubt that'll ever take place.
Well, and that thing, they're winning because they're cheating. That can be pretty galvanizing for Michigan, though. Like you brought up the Spygate.
You've been there.
The Patriots' entire thing that next season in the Man in the Arena documentary of Tom Brady, he actually talks about how the team together was like, oh, okay. Like, you think that the reason we're winning is because we're cheating, and they had that big bunker mentality, and maybe that's what happens with Michigan, too. Like, oh, the only reason you guys think that we're killing teams is because we have some guy going to every game and doing the signals and everything like that. Like, no, we are actually also better than you at football, and that might help them out in the end.
I love that college football has all this going on.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sweet.
Because it just adds wrinkles to it. Because you heard those Ohio State fans.
Yeah.
I mean, all of a sudden, they were playing Penn State. There's a lot of things.
A lot of opportunity.
Okay, there's a lot of things you can make signs of. I'm just talking about the reality of the world.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I'm speaking about. I'm not,
So what would be beneficial to me is the way the college offenses are, and they get to the line of scrimmage, they try to get the defense to show their hand, right? And then they all turn and look to the sideline. So as simple as birds and rabbit, rabbit, hey, it's run, birds, it's pass, whatever that is, that gives me an advantage on defense. Okay, if I'm a pass rusher and I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, okay, pin your ears back, let's roll. No play. I'm not biting on any play action, any of that BS, right? So we used to send out, is it legal in college?
No.
You guys
So
were
that we
talking,
just learned
so
this
you
last
can't
week.
have an advanced scout?
no. We just learned this on Friday. 1994, they implemented this rule, and I believe it was because, correct me if I'm wrong from what you heard from Pete, not everybody could afford it or something like that, so it was deemed a advantage to some places and not other places, I think is how it was described.
Yeah, so in-person scouting for a team that
So
season,
weird.
you're not allowed
Damn,
to
I
do.
think we were sending guys out. I was in college till 2000.
Where
I
at?
didn't know that rule.
Where at? This guy's cheating. This guy's cheating. That's Miami.
Take away all
That's for
my-
you.
Yeah.
Holy
Did they ever
hell.
beat West Virginia in there? They were cheating. How many nights were you in Morgantown? Huh? Yeah, okay.
Gee.
Oh, going through our trash cans too, trying to get our play calls?
Part of the
Oh,
The
okay.
same trash cans you threw off the top of the stadium and
Hey.
hit Randy Shannon in the head.
Welcome to Morgantown. Welcome to Morgantown. Not an easy place to play. That's why you got cheat.
The whole idea is, hey, because we're going to get the film, so we're going to see everything we need. It's the intangible stuff. So what's the intangible stuff? It's that stuff going on. Okay.
Chuck, what do you?
What do you mean?
So
That
for like,
stuff.
for a defensive coach, the hardest thing is personnel signals. So if you can just get the personnel signals, okay, that's 21, right? That's 12, that's 11. That's huge as a defensive coach. So those advanced scouts in the National Football League, I'm talking the National Football League,
course.
where it's
Yeah, where it's legal.
Where it's legal.
Not in the NCAA.
come back with it, because when they would come back and we'd have our Monday morning meeting for the next opponent, and the advanced scout would come in and he'd give you injury updates, this, that, and the other. What about signal? What about personnel? Do they signal personnel? And when they said no, we were like, oh.
Okay, so what happens if assistant coach's brother, who doesn't work for team, goes to all these games and notices these things, tells assistant coach, and then assistant coach comes in and goes, all right, here's their signs. Every team that has money is probably paying somebody that is not on staff to go advanced scout, I would assume. Not 100% sure, because what are the rules? Well, you can't have anybody on staff that's advanced scouting. You can't have a scout go. It's like, well, what if they work for Tone Diggs Incorporated and they are a college football scout as a whole and they have a blog? Like, can't you just get around all these rules?
They're going to connect the dots. I mean,
But can't you get around all this? I mean, isn't there ways to just get around
Well, everybody is, right? Let's just assume that everybody's finding a way.
That's what we're saying.
That's why all the coaches are kind of being like, yeah. But I was Chuck.
No, it's like the SEC before NIL.
Yeah.
You know, in recruiting.
What were they
Unless
doing?
it was like.
Saying they're
they-
cheating?
they-
What are you saying?
They gave this guy $5 million.
What year?
Okay, then but nobody's going to rat each other out.
98?
To Tone's point.
Miami?
What are you talking about? You talking about down there at the Miami where you guys were doing the yachts and thoughts? What was going on?
Evan Shapiro.
That guy down there. Were you down there when Mr. Shapiro was
You guys
down
were
there?
best friends. You slept at his house a bunch.
You get a boat from him?
Luke Skywalker was on our.
Luke Skywalker?
Hold on.
Oh, there's a
you
fake
know
name.
Darth?
You know Luke.
Me?
Like the Star Wars?
Luke.
Oh my God! I don't know what you're
Use the
talking.
force, Luke.
But I appreciate what you're talking about. But you're right, though. like-
These guys are still living. We can't bury anybody right now.
Well, you kind of did with
Too late.
you guys were cheating back in the 2000s. That's what we learned. That's what I learned right there. But everybody's doing it, is what we're saying. Like the NIL came in, and it was supposed to be an opportunity for everybody to be able to catch up to all the big schools. I assume, just from outside looking in. Like, hey, NIL now legal, players are finally able to make their money, but a ripple effect of that is also that these schools are able to kind of understand what has been happening everywhere else and also allowed to do it. The coaches that refused to do it, because they were noble and everything like that, now you're kind of given also an okay to do it. It's brought parity to college football.
Yeah.
More teams are getting better because if you can pay a guy out of the transfer portal, let alone transfer portal now, it's a whole new world, at a couple different positions, your team that was like a 4 or 5 win team could potentially be 8, 9 win team, because in football, anybody can beat anybody. And if you had like 5 stars that you just pay, not the whole roster, but you can just pay, like, you know what, I need a good center. Our offensive line, we need a good center in here. We need an edge. We need somebody that can get to a quarterback. All right, we need a wide receiver. Get a quarterback. Well, everybody's trying to get a quarterback. That's not going to be, we can get a running back though. You get a running back on the team. It's like, you can kind of, you can start like, at certain positions, like strategically, like make your team better. And I think it's going to make it good for a long, long time. But we can't have people recording signs and using AI to cheat to win. That can't be in the future college football.
No, and going back to your point, too, about like kind of ruining, like these guys' moment while they're in college. Like they're already talking about, there's more football to be played, obviously, but J.J. McCarthy is the odds-on favorite to win the Heisman. And I've seen people basically already said, like, well, there's no way he is going to win this thing, even if he continues to do what he's doing right now with all this hanging over him, because the people who vote for the Heisman are so tapped into this kind of stuff. And like, so you're already screwing over a kid who, it's not even necessarily on his side of the ball, but like, this shit's already hanging over him, and who knows how much longer it's going to get drawn out.
Hey, Michigan, you don't deserve it, but if you did it, we hope you get everything coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what we hope you get everything. But if nothing, if you're just doing what everybody else is doing, hey, just another piece of adversity.
That's right.
Sorry.
Playing ball.
Hardball's just got to go back to the NFL.
I will say my
Maybe the Packers.
Okay. See, this is self-interest.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a little self-interest here. You want to see him gloves on, cleats on, patting Jordan Love and shoulder pads.
Yes, I do.
Before a game, playing a little game of catch with Jordan Love.
Yes, I do.
That's what you want to see.
You're damn
You don't
right.
believe in LaFleur? Gutekunst? You don't believe in
really.
operation?
Not really.
What's this all about? This is a very negative situation. I did not know we were turning into this town, but I'm happy we got here, pal.
Well, just
12:25. 6 minutes, 12 minutes,
Wow.
25
We
minutes.
actually have that. We have that planned out over here.
It's a record.
Mine's gone back for a little bit, but going into the season, I'm thinking, hey, this team could win the division still. You look at their schedule. I looked at where, going into the bye week, it's like this team, at the very least, should have 5 wins. Lo and behold, they're 2-4. Jordan Love looked really good early. It doesn't look like he's really kind of developing at all. LaFleur kind of seems like he's in over his head. Again, it goes back to the same thing. Like when you have just the same issue over and over and over and over again, and you just continue to allow it to happen. What the hell does that say? We're not coaching an 8th grade football team here. This is the Green Bay Packers. So let's maybe figure it out.
All right. Well, I'm happy the man that's about to join us just heard you say all that, because he is a guy who had to motivate a team maybe when they weren't playing their best. And he was able to do that at the highest level. Became a Super Bowl champion, Hall of Famer.
Yes.
An absolute legend, not only in his hometown, but in another state that was the only one to really offer him a scholarship down there in North Carolina at NC State. He has a documentary coming out called NFL Icons on Saturday night at 10 on MGM Plus.
That's right.
Here we go.
Okay? MGM Plus, which we knew, right?
Great sports book.
Great.
Love MGM.
MGM Plus, though, is the app. Let's get the app.
Yep.
Because the story that's being told on Saturday night is one that was beautiful to relive this morning as we watched before the show. If you're from Pittsburgh, and I'm 36, Tone's 35, I think, Nick's 37, I believe.
I'm 32.
You're from
Pittsburgh.
You're from Boston. Your name's Boston Connor. This documentary that they did of Bill Cowher is like a reliving of our childhood, pretty much. This man was a massive piece of it, and getting to learn the behind the scenes of all the things and the memories that we had with the Pittsburgh Steelers was absolutely legendary. Saturday night, 10 p.m., MGM Plus, NFL Icons on this man, Bill Cowher.
Hey, well said, Pat.
Hey.
I like that.
Hey, Coach, listen.
I did.
We watched it this morning, man. Literally, we watched it.
Did?
And I was planning on just like 5-10 minutes, like let me at least know what the hell's going on. So when I'm talking to him, it appears as if I watched the thing.
Right.
So then as we're watching it, first of all, you being from Crafton and, the life stories from your dad. And you shouted out Peters Township at one point. I mean, it was like, as we were going through it, it was like impossible to stop watching. And I just want to let you know, man, Yinzers appreciate the hell how great you became and how great you are. You need to know that, Coach.
Thank you, Pat. I'll tell you, it was fun doing it and going down memory lane and to see some of the clips from my high school, from Carlington High School. I mean, that goes back in the time. I don't think I've seen any of those really since my dad used to take shots and he used to film my games in high school. We'd go back over it. I don't think he actually knew what my responsibilities were, but he would go over with me. He would ask me, "How do you think you played?" And I go, "Not that bad." He goes, "You can always play better." And there wasn't a game I didn't play. He said, "You can always play better." So I said, "Okay, doing what, Dad? You'll figure it out."
He knew something was off. Just didn't know exactly what it was. The story you told about your dad, and obviously I have a Pittsburgh dad as well, and shout out to Pittsburgh dad on the internet for replicating what Pittsburgh dads are like.
Right.
You were going to go down to the pool, with your friends.
Yes.
And your dad said, "Mark at Peters Township's not going to the pool. He's working out." And you said, "I don't care. Mark's having no fun. Yeah. Mark has no friends. Yeah. I'm going to the pool." Yeah. And you ended up at the gym. It's like, I feel like being a Pittsburgher is a real thing. I feel like it is a massive part of your story. It's a massive part of my story. And I think the world doesn't really understand that much, Bill. And I think your documentary showcases it a bit.
Thanks, Pat, because you know what? You grew up there during that time frame. And, one of the things I said, I think in Pittsburgh, particularly in Western Pennsylvania, in that area of football, you learn about how to compete, that winning is important. Then you have to do a little bit of the extra things. And my dad always talked about sacrifice. And so as I left the house that day and I said, "Mark can lift, I'll lift tomorrow." And he said, "Well, Mark will probably lift tomorrow too." And I said, "Well, heck with Mark. I'm a tougher guy than Mark." I got about a block away and I said, "Ugh, he's right." Yeah. So I went back, I lifted. And then I said, "I lift," and he goes, "Oh," I go, "I'm going to the pool." He goes, "Enjoy yourself." I'm going, "Oh, he got me again." Again.
This guy doesn't know football, but he's pushing all the right buttons for it.
Absolutely.
Hey, you were 6'3" and skinny coming out of high school, had no offers. You went to Maryland, and an NC State coach said, "Well, if you're good enough for Maryland, you're good enough for NC State." It's kind of how the story was told. I did not know that. 6'3", wiry, you would be great in today's game, don't you think? You would be great in today's game.
Yes, I would be the modern day guy in today's game, but back then you wanted to be 235, 240 if you're going to play inside. And I wasn't the fastest guy in the world, but I was pretty smart. That's the one thing I said, I was going to figure out a way to get it done. But but you know what? It worked out. I was a big believer in fate. Things happen even when I going down there, and I got cut in my last cut against the Philadelphia Eagles. When I went there as a free agent, went back down, got in school, got my degree as a GA with Bo Ryan. My first time I ever coached someone, and I said, "Man, this coaching is kind of fun because I know what to look for." Now I got some guys who are pretty athletic and they're a lot better than I was. And now to give them a little bit of insight and give them a little wisdom that you have from what to look at, what to see, the information you want to pick up pre-snap, because everything's about pre-snap, as you know, in football. I saw the shot of you the other day, and the guy jumping. You saw him jumping over the line.
And I shit my pants, Coach.
But Myles Garrett, that play last Sunday was one of the most amazing plays that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I was there. It was absurd. It wasn't just that. Let's move into modern football, and I hope everybody gets a chance to watch NFL Icons, Bill Cowher story, Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, MGM Plus.
Let's go.
Right.
Bill, you have MGM Plus, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I will have it. And I've seen it, and it's a great job, a great documentary, and it was, like I said, it's a chance going down memory lane, and for all the right reasons, all the shots with Marty Schottenheimer and how instrumental he was to me, and Dan Rooney, and all the people I talked about that were very much there. And my family was the biggest part. They were there every step of the way. And being from Pittsburgh, Pat, you know what it is. Family's everything. And, it was football and family, and more family than football. And just the journey you go down with them, and for them to be able to relive that as well will be very special.
Yeah, my dad works here. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I'm with him every day. Yeah, it's a lot of that. But yes, I hope everybody watches it, genuinely. MGM Plus, Saturday night, 10 p.m. Your story's awesome. Not only for you, by the way, for all of Pittsburgh. So we appreciate the hell out of it. Let's start talking a little bit about football here in this season. I don't know if you got a chance to hear it there as you hopped on the call. Ty Schmidt, Green Bay Packers owner, very disappointed in the development of Jordan Love and what Matt LaFleur's doing and the buttons he's pressing and everything like that. Whenever you hear this type of talk, it's happening everywhere, especially in Pittsburgh. It happened. How does a coach keep that type of information and those types of narratives out of the locker room? Because once it gets in, it's over, right? Isn't that kind of an actuality of the whole thing?
And I think Chuck will probably tell. He's next to you. And I mean, I think the noise a lot of times is a lot louder on the outside than it is on the inside. I think on the inside, the head coach can control the narrative. I'll sit there and talk to the team every morning talking about where we are, what we need to do. And it's the little things. It's the attention to detail. And there's still so much football left to be played. I think you saw it the other night when Minnesota Vikings come up and have this unbelievable win that they had against the San Francisco 49ers. It's very much a league of parity. And right now, I think the biggest thing is coaching is huge right now, Pat, because I say this, you take the first third of the season, and what you're doing there is assessing your team. You identify your strengths, you identify your flaws, you find now systems to be creative and resourceful, to accentuate your strengths, to mask your flaws. You got to be creative. You got to be resourceful because you're losing players. And that's why it's always good to keep playing players. Like Miami Dolphins may not have Tyreek Hill this week. So, the thing you have to be able to do as a coach is be creative in your thinking, be creative in your messaging. And so that you keep it fresh, you keep it new, you keep it exciting. You sit there and you come in on Wednesday, you hand the players a game plan. You can see the receivers. Some people slap it down. They're not in it. Some people are like feeling pretty good about it because there's a bunch of plays for them. So you're really trying to keep everybody happy. And at the same time, keep it exciting. Keep it something that they look forward to on Wednesday, not the same old stuff that you're doing. So I was always big on making sure that we always had something different that we were doing, even if it's with a different player, putting a defensive tackle as fullback down at the goal line, just something that makes the game fun. And because it's too long of a season that you have to be able to keep those guys engaged week in and week out.
Yeah, the amount of throwbacks with Antoine Randall we got to re-experience in this documentary was beautiful. And then obviously people forget Cordell Stewart, original slash. You're talking about wide receiver, quarterback, punt returner, I think safety at some points, running back at some points. I think you line him up at center. Shout out to you, Tron. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Cordell was before his time. I'm thinking today we're all looking at, you look at Lamar and what you do with Lamar. We were doing a lot of the same things with Cordell Stewart. And at the times, we were doing a lot of quarterback draws. We would run the option going down the line. And then people forget that Cordell Stewart in his first 2 years, he played receiver. And the second year, after he was rookie year, he's a receiver. We go to the Super Bowl. Neil O'Donnell leaves and free agency. So the next season we have Jim Miller, we have Mike Tomczak, and Cordell Stewart, three guys going to vie for the quarterback job. Well, we get into training camp, and I still realized Cordell's still one of our better receivers. I said, Cordell, give me one more year at receiver. So then I came down, and we had Jim Miller and Mike Tomczak, and a great story about that being that Pittsburgh's playing Jacksonville this week. Our first game that year in 1996 was in Jacksonville, opened up against Jacksonville. So you have to go through that quarterback, battle we had. No one really won it, so I thought, okay, who'd be best coming off the bench, right? So I said, because right now no one's really winning it. And I thought Mike Tomczak, he'd been there, done that before. Jim Miller, here's your chance to start. Well, at halftime of the game, I pulled Jim Miller. I benched him, and I put Mike Tomczak in. And Jim Miller came out to me at the time. He says, Coach, why'd you pull me out? I didn't do anything. I go, therein lies the problem. You didn't do anything. I said so. So I put Mike Tomczak in, and he took us to the playoffs that year. Jim was back up that year. And so, I think, again, just looking at your resources. And I've always said before, just turn over every stone, even quarterback. Sometimes if it's not going well, let them pull them out. Let them sit back and just watch it for a while. So, I think that's some of the things that I'm looking at. Hopefully Daniel Jones has watched Tyrod Taylor these last 2 weeks. The offense has looked so much more in sync with Tyrod Taylor running it. And I think with Daniel Jones, a chance to look back and look at that is going to be a very, very much a benefit for him.
Okay, so what do you think about those types of situations that are happening? Let's move away from the Giants. Let's go to Cleveland. because what's taking place with Deshaun, obviously there's a lot of speculation and conversation, and Deshaun Watson actually came out today and said, I worked my ass off for 2 years to get back. Why wouldn't I want to play? Because there is a lot of speculation on whether or not it's him deciding not to play, because he was in full pads on Sunday against the Colts on the sideline, and Kevin Stefanski said he decided, and Deshaun said Kevin Stefanski decided, but before that, Deshaun was holding himself out even though he's medically cleared, which Kevin Stefanski said publicly, which you would never think the coach would say that, and that information would come from. Feels like that's a conversation. But then you get PJ in there, and he's balling. He's doing his thing, and they're winning, and they put in 39, and I don't want to say the team is at its peak or whatever, but they're certainly a little bit better with that. With the Deshaun, what do you think? How do you handle that? How do you think Cleveland handles $230 million, their biggest contract in the history of sports is happening. It's kind of unfolding in front of us. How do you think it ends, and how do you think you handle it?
I don't, again, without having any of the information from doctors and what's taking place inside, I believe Deshaun Watson wants to play. He understands all the magnitude of which, his contract and everything's been magnified. He's coming back. It sat out last year. If you watched his first couple passes in that game, they were going straight to the ground. I mean, he can't throw the football right now. I mean, say what you want. I believe he's trying to do everything he can. And when you look at the initial injury, I know we're talking to some people who have had that. They said it's a 4 to 6 week injury. He's tried to come back a little bit too soon. So to me, until he can prove that he can throw the football all week long, I wouldn't put him back in there, Pat. I mean, I think the one thing about players that are hurt, they have to come to you. I sit there with Tyrod, like you look at Murray out in Arizona. He's starting to practice right now, right? And so, and I think, how do you know when he's ready? When he's begging you to get back in the game. Because a player, when you see him, you work out a player before the game, and they're not coming up to you, I can play. And if you have to ask them, then there's no question that they don't want to play. But if they want to tell you, that's how you got to tell me and talk me into it. If I have to talk you into it, you're not going to be worth a crap. So I wouldn't even play him.
But until then, we got to do with who we got. This is basically what you're saying. Turn over every stone. And we will act as if that is the case because it's best for the for the team. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, listen, I don't sit there and worry about it. To me, I want the guys out there that really want to be out there for all the right reasons. And if a guy is questioned about whether he doesn't think he can play with a hamstring, and listen, I'm not going to question someone's pain tolerance because everybody's threshold is different. And that's one thing I never going to sit there and say, I can't tell you how you feel, but I can tell you how you look, and I can tell you how you're feeling mentally as you look at me. So if you don't feel you're right, you're not going to be good for us on that particular day because football is one of the most challenging mental sports you're going to have. It's going to challenge you. You know that. You're going to have to be able to get back up because you're going to get knocked down. You got to be able to work through some of the things that are taking place out there, the pressures that exist, the decisions you have to make, and then obviously the competition, the one-on-one situations that every player is working with that particular Sunday. So, it's a very competitive game. It's a very mentally challenging game. And you have to be at your best mentally to have any chance physically.
Hey, you're still coaching, man. Like you know that, like because in the Icons documentary, I think Boomer and Phil and a couple others are like watching games with him on Sunday. He's coaching every team now. Yeah. He doesn't coach just one team. He's coaching every team. Just in your blood, huh? Always going to be because as you were rolling right there, it was like, oh, we're listening to a speech right now that he's giving to a team.
No, it is, and I do miss that part of it. I miss the messaging that you have on Wednesdays. I miss the messaging you have on Monday mornings, or the ones that you have on Saturday night. A chance to make every game personal, to make sure that you look out there and challenge your team to be as good. Don't worry about what people on the outside are saying.
Like when the Bengals rubbed a terrible towel over their cleats. TJ Hushmanzada.
That was a bad mistake. and Trevor Lawrence talked about those little gold towels, he said this week. Little gold towel. Little.
What's he doing?
A little gold towel. Come on, Trevor. It's not a little gold towel. It's called a terrible towel. And you're going to be terrible because this towel is going to make you terrible.
Yeah.
That's why it's called a terrible towel. But it's going to be a good game, I think, on Sunday, Pittsburgh and Jacksonville.
So Myron Cope, too. There were some drop-ins of Myron, obviously the founder of the Terrible Towel, which was awesome. Absolutely legendary man on a microphone. Yoy! Double yoy!
Yeah.
And then he would just go to the next game. He was synonymous with the city of Pittsburgh, the Steelers, and our childhood as well. So it was, I'm telling you, that document, if you I don't know how many humans out there, and this is quite a niche group, but if you are 35 to 38 years old from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, definitely must watch. Now, you talk about the messaging and missing it. As you were saying that, there was another coach that was nodding his head in agreement with you. Coach Chuck Pagano has something for you.
Coach, how you doing?
Coach.
Great to see you.
I'm doing good, Chuck. Good to see you, buddy.
I'm going with Pittsburgh. I've been in that stadium when them terrible towels have been flying, and it was like we'd be doing okay until they played like Renegade.
Yeah.
And then all hell broke loose, Coach. Hey, so tough week on the officials. I wanted to ask you about officiating right now in the National Football League. Again, it was a tough week. We saw where Mr. Irsay came out and publicly, tweeted out some things about some missed calls, about the communication. You've been on the other end of that. I've been on the other end of that where we've had those conversations, and we're not allowed to, speak of those situations, of those conversations.
Right.
It's just
right.
You just don't do it. But there's like no accountability on the other end.
Okay.
What's your thoughts like on this situation now, officiating in 2023, replay? Do you have any thoughts on how we can fix this?
Well, I think we're trying to do it with the league getting involved and trying to make changing calls before the challenge goes to the coach, right? So they're doing their best from that standpoint. It's always been an issue, Chuck, and I always feel like it's always been something that the NFL's had to deal with. And as a coach, you have to deal with it, right? So I said, the biggest thing I just don't want to do is don't get a feel for the coaches. I always said, are they calling the hand check or not? And so that's the biggest thing I want, particularly from a defensive back standpoint. If teams are going to start calling it tight with bump and run, let's just play a little bit of off coverage. So, again, it's get a feel for who, how much they're letting you play. And the good officials will do a good job of communicating with you, And so it's always going to be the scrutiny. I think the technology we have today, we see these plays slow down to the nth degree that we didn't always see them before. So I think the HD TV, all the replays we see, there's a lot of contact. There's grabbing, there's pushing, there's maneuvering, so I call it the art of the craft. I think when we talk about the ability to make sure there's going to be a little bit of hand fighting that's going to take place, but you don't want, once it starts getting a little further away from the body, you got to get your hands off. But inside, as you can work inside, whether you're a lineman, whether you're a defensive back, whether you're playing bump and run, whether you're trying to just sit there and get underneath someone's pad as a offensive lineman, you're going to hold. It's the art of the craft. But when it gets a little bit further away, you got to be able to let it go, and that's what the good ones are able to do. So, listen, there's two things. Number one, there's pre-snap penalties and post-snap penalties, and I can live with the post-snap penalties. You guys got to learn, see how they're calling it. It's so funny. You had Harrison Smith on the other day. It's interesting to listen to him talk about the element of playing safety in the National Football League, which I thought was really, really, very, very insightful. Yeah, because I do watch a show. So
why?
Coach,
don't watch your show.
Why?
Coach,
no.
Coach, don't watch your show.
Guys are. No. I like some of the guys. I don't watch you. I wait till the guests come on.
Okay. All right. Me too. That's what I would do as well. Yeah. Similar.
You got Coach Saban coming on. But anyway, it's
yeah, you do.
Good plug.
Listen, I just think in terms of officiating, just communicate with the coaches. I think we got to continue to do that, and we always going to get. I mean, how many times I sent in 10 plays? Okay. 4 of them shouldn't have been called. I got it. Okay. It's because I just want to know what to tell the players. I want to just tell the player, is what you're doing right or wrong? But you were okay. Why'd they call it? They missed it. Okay, so it's going to happen. So it's a part of the game that you have to live with. I don't think you should dwell on it.
Well, I appreciate what you said at the beginning there, where we're trying to get it fixed before the call is even made, because I think there is the technology that we speak of, being able to see it in super slow motion, that can affect and help before a mistake is even announced publicly to a national audience, which I appreciate that'll evolve into that. And Coach Tomlin said the same thing as you. It's like, I think he said, understanding the tenor of the officiating crew. We did poorly at that because they had like 11 penalties. 8 were taken, which is like the most they've ever had or something like that. But it's some of the inconsistencies, I think, is what we're most pissed off about, where guys will learn the tenor of the game, and then in the biggest moment, it's being called differently, and it's like affecting the complete outcome. It's like, it's tough. I think it's a feel thing too. Like the humans we have doing it, I think is not an easy it's not easy to find that person. You know what I mean? I think it's tough.
Right. And I think each week, and Chuck will tell you, there's a points of emphasis that come out. So certain weeks after something, you see something that, too many hits on a quarterback, they're going to be calling it a little bit closer this week. So as much information as you can give to the player to understand how this game's going to unfold. Who's this crew we're having this week? Look at that. They call it really tight. There's this other crew. They kind of let you play a little bit. So you got to get a feel for who's calling your game, get a feel for how the game unfolds, and then you have to adapt accordingly.
Yeah, these ones that suck. Let's get them out of the league. Tom Diggs has a question for you, Coach.
Yeah, Coach. Let's talk about Coach Tomlin and the situation that he's in. You guys talked about the throwbacks with Randall and Hines and putting Big Snacks Casey Hampton at fullback. That was under Wisenhunt with you. And I know you went through a few offensive coordinators in your time in Pittsburgh. What do you think of the situation now with Coach Canada and the chance and what Tomlin's dealing with? Is he too loyal to Coach Canada? Because you talked about, I believe, last time you were on, your only loyalty is to the owner. So I wanted to get your thoughts on the situation in Pittsburgh with the offensive coordinator.
Well, I mean, I think number one, it's really hard to make a change in the middle of the season. I think that number one, who's the next person to step in? How much, can they? What kind of continuity you lose? And I think when you watch them, I said before, they're work in progress. It seemed like Kenny plays a lot better in the second half of these games, and they just cannot get anything going early, which is ironic because a lot of times you're able to script your first 12 to 15 plays. So I think just in scripting these plays, I just get a little bit more creative. I think getting Deontay Johnson back, Jalen Warren, getting him in the game, these two guys give you a little bit of some suddenness on that offensive side of the ball. And getting them into the game early, right? They do. I mean, you got to get these guys in the game. I mean, Pickens, you watch him. You get him into the game, he's in the game. Deontay, in the game. Jalen, get him a couple of carries. So you get the receivers in the game early, and then they're going to be blocking for you down the field. And a lot of times, a lot of the big runs come with those big blocks by the receivers.
When you're getting back into coaching? When are you getting back in?
Hey, I coach every Sunday, Pat. I haven't lost a game in 17 years.
Yeah, of course. That's like Big Mike McCarthy had that team meeting in the basement. Yep. Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Coach, one of the great surprises in this documentary is your relationship with Bill Belichick, obviously. And as a Patriots fan, I love seeing that. I mean, there was actually an article that came out a little bit earlier in the week that talked about how you and Bill would exchange some thoughts, and he reached out to you to, give you any tips in a couple of games in the playoffs that were coming up. But what was your relationship like with him? And did it change at all when he became, the head coach in New England? Because obviously Pittsburgh in New England had a lot of good battles, and one in particular when Bledsoe had to come back in 2001. Did you text Bill after he announced Tom Brady was starting over the $100 million man, Drew Bledsoe, like, hey, what the hell are you doing? Or what is that relationship like between you two?
It's very good. I mean, I think I look at what what Bill's going through right now, and it's a period of transition, and it's very, very tough. So it's one of those situations again that I think that they'll work through it. Bill and I, got to know each other down through the years for a long period of time. So it's tough for them right now, but I think they came off a great game with Mac Jones, and they're going down to play Miami. But Bill wants that record. He wants that record of 329. He wants to break Don Shula.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. How could you not want to go get that thing? At this point, who do you think wins the Super Bowl this year? Who do you think you got? You got me, Coach?
Yeah, I got you. Am I going in and out here?
You were frozen there for a bit, but I want to let you know, teammate, you watch back. I froze too, so people just think that it was the full screen and not just you. And then we put a picture up, and then I came back. So I want to let you know, good teammate. Nobody noticed anything. But as we sit right here on the way, hey, you need to join. Now that's me demanding there. Let me rephrase that. We would be honored if you joined our show more. You were awesome. You know that, Coach. You were awesome on our show.
Yeah, no, I listen. I all you gotta do is ask me. I'm a Pittsburgher, right? So I'm a Yinzer. So just ask me. And so you want me to pick the Super Bowl teams
right now? Impossible task.
It is impossible because too many things can happen. And as I said, this middle part of the season is where coaching becomes a big part. I will never discount Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes and what he can do. The year him and Kelsey are having, and they're gonna. I think Rashid Rice is a guy that might start to evolve more in that offense.
Yeah.
And the defense, Spags doesn't get enough credit. One of the best defensive coordinators in the National Football League. That defense has been lights out. So I'm not going to discount them. I mean, since in Miami, if they can stay healthy and play in Miami, they're going to be good. I'll tell you, whoever comes out of the AFC North, Lamar Jackson had a heck. He's getting more comfortable right now in this Todd Monken offense. And what he did last week, how interesting is that? When you look at the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar is 16-1 versus NFC teams.
Yeah.
How about that, Matt?
Yeah.
16-1. You know what it is? You know what it is, Pat? You can't simulate him in practice. And if you've never played against him, the things that he does, you can't simulate. So all of a sudden you got to kind of get acclimated as the game goes on. A lot of times by that time it's too late. So, when you play him in the AFC North, they play him twice a year. So they know he's at. So his record's not as good there. But you get him in the NFC, no one can simulate the guy.
That's like when you guys are putting corners at quarterback or trying to sign a quarterback during practice squad. It's like, all right, what do we need you to do? We need you to be Lamar Jackson. Okay? That's what you need. Extend the plays, run around, make great throws. Seemingly have a great offensive line right now, too. Yep. Have Odell Beckham Jr. at your disposal now, Aguilar at your disposal, Zay Flowers at your disposal, and Mark Andrews.
Real deal.
It's like they're the real deal right now. Yeah. And I can see how that could be tough to prepare for.
And their defense has been lights out. I mean, talking about leading the team in sacks, and a lot of them are coming from their secondary. So there's like 12 different guys got sacks on the defensive side of the ball. So very creative with what they're doing, like I talked about before right now, being resourceful, being creative. This is a time of year where coaching has a tremendous impact on the outcomes of a lot of these games week in and week out. Your creativity, your resourcefulness, your ability to make these games personal at a time when, okay, how can it be personal? Make it personal. Deliver the message. Take control of the narrative.
Hell yeah. Hey, we appreciate you, Coach. Have a great Sunday on CBS and then an incredible Saturday night on MGM Plus with the debut of your documentary, NFL Icons. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Cowher. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, he's awesome, dude.
Wow. Every time.
He's really cool.
Got me jacked up a few different times in there.
And legitimately, we said it to him twice, 3 times in there. I mean, that's the hero in Pittsburgh whenever we were kind of growing up, because his jaw would get going and he would start spitting whenever he's talking. It's like, this guy's real emotional right now. And he's like losing his mind. And then he was obviously very animated. They show the clip, remind the people of whenever he put a picture, because you couldn't look at the iPads or the Surfaces back then. They had a picture of a play, and it was a penalty that the ref called, and he folded it up and he shoved it into the ref's pocket. So whenever he started talking about the officiating, trying to get the tenor of him, it's like, I understand what you're saying, Coach, and I agree it's a very difficult job. But whenever he was talking about this, he said he's so competitive that he can't contain it. There it is, right there. Boom. Let me put this thing right. Look at this at halftime.
Yeah.
Look at this, and I want an apology on the other side.
Did he get fined for that?
I mean, who knows?
Yeah, like $500 back then.
Yeah.
That is crazy how much the league has grown.
Man.
That's also another thing you see whenever you watch these old school documentaries, because it's so cool to learn the history of the game in a more detailed level. And everything that NFL Films has over there in Philadelphia in that vault, they have behind the scenes footage of everything. Those pictures of back in the day where there's guys smoking cigs and they had other jobs. It's like they have video of that. They had video of Cowher in the background of somebody else's documentary that was being shot. So you had more clips of him in practice and everything. It's like the more they put out, the better for all of us. And Saturday night on MGM Plus.
Let's go.
MGM Plus. I've never heard of that. What is it? I don't know. I'm 36 and I don't know. I have no. But MGM Plus, you want to see this one?
Yeah, absolutely.
If only NFL had a plus.
They do.
Oh yeah.
Live shows, games.
That is interesting.
Anyways, hour 2 will be on the other side with Coach Nick Saban, the head coach of this team right here that I got full scholarship to a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
AJ Hawk will be here as well. Same with Coach Artie Smith and CC Sabathia in the 3rd hour. You're the best. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. Take 3.
Hi, how's it going? My name is Pat McAfee. Used to hold balls for Adam Vinatieri. Now I'm in his home state. College game day is absolutely electric. And Brookings
College game day has made the voyage to Brookings, South Dakota to experience a game with the best fans in college football. I unfortunately cannot attend because I have a game this Sunday, so I sent a man I trust to make my picks. A man who was my holder for almost a decade. Please be nice to him. Welcome this week's celebrity guest picker, Pat McAfee.
Go big, go blue, go Jacks.
Hosting Auburn. Yes, everybody saw this. The best fake punt in the world. What do you think, Pat?
I absolutely loved it all the way up until execution time. That is not one we like to show in the brand headquarters and punting and kicking world.
Oh, dance off. Oh, let's get weird. Yes. Duck that, huh?
Bang! Right off the top of the dome. That makes it a lot easier when you got a dummy standing right in front of you like that.
Running. He's Hayden! Daniel Russo!
Wax on! Wax off! Knee to the face!
World Series!
Go! Go! Yes!
These teams stink. With that 15, they celebrate by doing shotguns. And I'm a big fan of that. I'm going with the University of Virginia Cavaliers. That was great. Whoa! I will never, ever in the history of my life cut against that ball. Oklahoma State is the winner here. Not so fast again.
But I'm going Trey.
Please excuse my dumb friend Kirk. Look at this crowd. They've been out here since 4 a.m. College game day comes to town. They lose their mind. The population of this state is about 800,000. And when the Jackrabbits take the field, they're alongside all 800,000 South Dakotans. The Dakota marker was in Fargo for far too long. Today, 5 o'clock local time, the Dakota marker is back in beautiful Brookings, South Dakota. Terry School. They might be the Jackrabbits, but they're the GOATs today. Ladies and gentlemen, South Dakota State with the win.
Give me everybody say that.
No, don't do that. No. Leave. Coach.
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey,
Why?
let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for. The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers, you pig! Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life.
Sport!
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Coach Saban Thursday, October 26, 2023. Hour 2 of this program starts now.
Football
is happening this evening as Week 8 of the NFL season kicks off in beautiful Buffalo, New York, as the Bills play host to the NFC South's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bills favored by 10, 9.5, and 9, depending upon what book you would like to go get it at. Should be an incredible game tonight on Prime. The Toxic Table is here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. One half of the Hammer, Dahn. Cowboys Tone Diggs is here. And a man who coached football for 36 years. 18 years in college, 18 years in the NFL. Ladies and gentlemen, the People's Coach, Chuck Pagona. How are you, Chuck?
Wonderful.
Good to see you, pal. Tonight's a big one. I do believe the man in Ohio in the attic has not been able to connect.
Getting throttled?
Oh, no. His computer, I guess, is actually crashing at the exact moment that he was supposed to be joining the program. And this is quite a bummer for all of us because I was hoping to hear his thoughts, not only on the game tonight between the Bucs and the Bills. I was excited to get his thoughts on Coach Cowher joining our program last night.
Yes.
Everything he was saying was pretty crazy to me, but I think what he was mostly mentioning to you was, hey, there's still a lot of time left in the season, and he needs to utilize the pieces he has to make the team as good. He was talking directly to you, Ty Schmidt, as a Green Bay Packer fan, saying there's a lot of football left. These coaches can turn this whole thing around.
Yeah, absolutely. But then he followed that up at the end and basically said the middle of the season here is where coaching is more important than anywhere else. So if you don't think your coach is very good to begin with, that doesn't make me feel great going into kind of the meat and potatoes part of the season here.
Well, speaking of coaching and coaches, we currently have the greatest college football coach of all time in everybody's eyes except his own. He is currently sitting at 7-1 going into a bye week as the coach of the Alabama football team. Ladies and gentlemen, friend of the program, Coach Nick Saban.
How you guys doing?
Coach, good to see you. Huh? How's life? Big win, biting cigars over Tennessee. That had to feel good.
It was great. You know, it was a great atmosphere in the stadium. Players were really excited, happy to win the game. A lot of lessons to learn. Still, you know, to play with intensity for 60 minutes in a game. We didn't play great in the first half, and kind of told the guys at halftime, you know, everybody has a choice in life. You know, what do you want to accomplish? What are you willing to do to accomplish it? And we sure didn't play the way we're capable of playing in the first half, but if we go out and play the way we're capable of in the second half, we can still have a chance to be successful and win the game. So they responded well, and I was really proud of the way they overcame adversity again to win.
Whenever you're delivering that message at halftime, are you trying to look around to see who's listening, who's really listening? Do you have a firm belief that your team's going to respond, or are you actually wondering in that moment how your team will respond when you're delivering that message?
I think that in that environment, at halftime before the game, I do think they're listening. Sometimes when I'm giving them a presentation in a meeting and maybe even saying the same thing and they're just sitting there in the theater seat, I wonder sometimes if they're really listening.
Yeah, I could imagine. I could imagine that. Well, it seems like it worked. Let's go to the after the game part, because you have this fantastic post-game interview. And,
so good.
You know, the energy around you was absolutely phenomenal. Here's the video, actually. I don't know if you've seen it yet. You know, I know you were in it. I don't know if you got a chance to watch it. It was beautiful. And the way it ended certainly stole the show.
You can tell, but it's getting a little smoky in here, and it's well documented that you actually do not like smoking cigars. But how are you going to celebrate this one tonight?
Well, I'll chew on one for a while.
Here you go.
There we go.
All right,
Listen to
Jalen,
Miller.
over here. You're going to be doing, buddy.
Him laughing his ass off after you give that answer is a beautiful depiction of, I think, your relationship, first of all. But let's dive into this. Did you chew the shit out of a cigar on Saturday night after that massive win on the third Saturday in October?
I did. I always do. I've never lit one up in all the years that I've been here. So I chew on them a while. And but the great thing about it is to see the players have so much fun, be so excited after the game and have so much fun with the whole thing. I mean, it really is. It's a unique locker room, believe me.
Okay, I love that, and I can't wait to dive into that more as we continue through this season. But listening to Milroe laugh right there, in like the genuine happiness, and then you've talked about his confidence over the last few weeks, just growing and growing at his position. I think we're seeing him evolve into phenomenal football player. Do you agree at that thing? And what are we doing this bye week to maybe continue that, or are you giving them some time to relax? What's the schedule for the boys?
No, we practice on Tuesday, Wednesday. We're actually practicing today. Then we give them Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. We didn't practice. We didn't do anything on Sunday with them. We didn't do anything on Monday. Except, you know, watch the film of the game. So, you know, we calculate that we're doing 43% of the work from Sunday to Sunday that we would normally do, you know, in a regular week when we had a game, which I think the players really need. I'm telling you, playing 8 games in a row has been grueling. You get a lot of guys banged up. But I think more than anything, guys get psychologically tired. Like we do a catapult on all of our players so we know what their power numbers are, what their speed numbers are, and all that. We only have one guy on our team that's gone down 2%. So they're maintaining their physical ability to run fast, be explosive, do the things that they need to do. But what gets you is the psychological feeling that you have that you are tired. All right, this is a grind. I can't take another game plan. I mean, those are the things I think that are most difficult and most refreshing, really, about having a bye week. You don't have a game to worry about. You don't have a game plan to worry about.
Yeah, the mental wall is a real thing. It happens for everybody, I think, that is kind of getting a lot of one thing in abundance. So the mental break is good. You said you watched the previous game, give them a couple, 3 days of practice, you move on. What do you do here for the bye week, huh? We going to golf? We're driving around the Ferrari? We having maybe Miss Terry out on the boat having a day? What are we doing for a bye week, huh? We living a little? Yeah. Chewing some cigars? What are we doing?
I drive I don't know. I'm sure I'm obsessive compulsive or something, but I only drive the Ferrari on Wednesday if it's not raining. So that's kind of the program.
I don't know if I'm obsessive compulsive, but I'm on Wednesday if it's not raining. Okay, I love that. I can't wait to see that sometime.
But we will go to it's my birthday coming up on Halloween, so we always go to the lake. We have a birthday dinner with a bunch of our friends on Saturday and turn around and come back. So, but it's enjoyable. I mean, even though I still watch film and I'll be looking at LSU cut-ups and all that stuff, it's enjoyable to just have a change of scenery, if you know what I mean. When you're working 12 and 14 hours a day for ever since August 1st, it's great just to have a little time to decompress in a different environment.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that for you. I want to let you know that. Guys, I'm happy to hear that from you. Because remember, we asked, do you do anything other than football? Do you have any hobbies? And you were so disgusted with the question. We're in the middle of the season, obviously. But bye week, happy to hear you're having a good time. And also, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hey, this next trip around the sun's going to be the best one yet, Coach. Think about that. It's going to be the best one yet.
I hope so. But, if you ask my mom, I still think after all these years, she doesn't know whether she got a trick or a treat.
Halloween, baby. I love everything about that. Coach Tone has a question for you.
Yeah, Coach, you brought up LSU coming up after the bye week, which is an absolutely huge one in the SEC West. And we were just talking to Coach Bill Cowher about NFL teams preparing for Lamar Jackson and how unique that is. You have one in Jaden Daniels coming up. I think he's got like 30 touchdowns responsible for so far this season. How do you prepare for someone that unique? Or does it help that you have Jalen Milroe, who is an athlete as a quarterback, and your defense sees him a lot? How are you guys going to prepare for someone as unique as Jaden Daniels?
Right. Well, I think, first of all, it's very difficult to find a person who can simulate his speed, quickness, change of direction, his ability to read, the zone read plays with the sliders and all that. It's very difficult to get that kind of execution at that tempo, in practice. Now, Jalen Milroe is a guy that can definitely do it. He's the same kind of athlete, has the same kind of speed, but he's got to get ready to do what we were going to do in the game. So we don't practice against each other. Maybe 12 plays of team run, maybe 20 plays against each other, in one period, and that's basically it. So we have to find somebody else who can simulate, that kind of speed and explosiveness, and that's the hard part. And then when the game comes, the speed of the game is completely different. It's almost like in the old days when you played against a wishbone team. You could never get a guy to run the wishbone like Oklahoma's quarterback did. So when the game came, they were just so much faster, and it was happening so much faster, it took the players a while to respond to it.
Will you put a wide receiver or a corner in that position? How will you normally do that?
Yeah, we'll put somebody who has great speed and can execute the plays. That's the problem. The guy can be an athlete, but if he had never played quarterback before, it's really hard to get him to execute the plays.
Yeah, and then your defense isn't seeing anything that they're going to see. So is it a waste of time? Are we getting better? Who knows? It's a constant question. I mean, hey, I'm happy I'm not doing it. Hell yeah. We just say dumb stuff in the microphones. Connor has a question for you, Coach.
Yeah, Coach. Obviously, this weekend you guys aren't playing, so there's no worry about a game. But the first college football playoff rankings are coming out. As a team with one loss, do you pay more attention to that to see where the committee kind of has you? And is there any thought as well that there's never been a two-loss team kind of crack that top four in the rankings?
Yeah, well, that I think the second part of that question is pretty legitimate because, I felt like last year, and I've said this publicly, before, we were probably one of the best four teams in the country, but because we lost two games on the last play of the game, we never got into playoffs. But I think they should put more emphasis on strength of schedule, who you play, how many, top 20 teams you played and beat, whatever it might be. so that you get the best teams in the game, which I'm not sure there's so much public sentiment for making sure that, you win your conference championship or whatever, that I think when we go to 12 teams, you definitely get all the best teams in. But right now it can be a little bit hit or miss. But I don't really care much about the rankings right now because they really don't matter unless you win the next game. They really don't matter unless you win the next game after that. So you got to stay focused on sort of the here and now, which we've talked about before, in terms of trying to do everything you can do on the front end to make sure your team is playing the best in the next game, and try to develop some kind of consistency in performance where you have a chance to end up where you need to end up so you have a chance to get in the playoffs when the time comes at the end of the season.
The strength of schedule thing is an interesting conversation right now. Because at a 30,000-foot view, I think, nationally, and I don't know if you get to keep up with this, I think you and Kirby have both addressed it, though. The SEC, certainly still very much respected, but hey, there's teams in every single conference that are better and good, and everybody has gotten better in this year of transition and change with the NIL. And it's like, I do believe there's a conversation, a slight one. I'm not saying we're having it. I'm just saying in the college football world that maybe SEC is down this year, and I think you've kind of had to address that maybe, or had a thought about that coming into play at the end of the season with the voting. I don't know how they ever get it right. I don't know how this has been a 4-game thing ever. I don't know how that was even initially conceived as the right answer for college football playoff code. Honestly, how do you get that right? Because now it's just narratives about conferences and who's better than who, because you can only really settle it on it. How did we get to this point, and how do you think that shapes up with how the SEC is viewed this year?
I think the reason that we got to this point was the decision wasn't made on how to get the best 4 teams in the playoffs. We started with a 2-team playoff, and there was a lot of controversy about who should have got in, who shouldn't. So we decided that if we had 4 teams, we'd definitely get the best 2 teams in. But it was all sort of keep the integrity of the bowl system, which has been a tradition in college football for a long time, and which is a good thing. It gives a lot of positive reinforcement to a lot of teams that have, a good year. They get to go to a bowl game. Their fans are excited about it. Their players are excited about it. The players get a reward for it. But as the playoffs have grown, we have started to minimize the importance of bowl games. And I think that that's going to get further minimized when we go to 12 teams. So the whole concept of having a playoff was always sort of a backseat to how can we have a playoff and still keep the integrity of bowl games.
The BCS system was wild. That was when we were going through college, when I was going through college. That was insane because the BCS bowl game was huge. If you were in a BCS game, huge. But then one of them was allotted as the national championship, and then there was always discretion. There was there's never going to get it right. Hopefully the 12 team will be able to do it, and hopefully the bowls will still be able to have something that is awesome. Because I, as a Meineke Car Care Bowl champion, and as a Gator Bowl champion, those rings shine just the same as the Fiesta Bowl and the Sugar Bowl, Yeah. So I agree with you there, Coach, because that is a lot of hard work for a lot of teams that aren't those 12 teams, that it should have a little bit of a payoff at the end. I agree. There's going to be something.
But, you talk about the SEC. I think the SEC is better from top to bottom this year. Maybe, I don't know about the top, but I'm just saying the difference between the best team and the 10th or 11th team is a lot closer than it has been in a lot of other years. But if you went back and you looked at all the years we played in the SEC championship game, maybe -1, it was a playoff game. It was a playoff game. I mean, I remember when we played Georgia and barely won. They had the ball on the 8-yard line ready to score at the end of the game when the clock ran out. I think the score was 28-24 or something, and we played Notre Dame, and it was 28-0 halftime. That was in a national championship game. So there is differences. There are differences in conferences. There are differences in quality of teams. But if you look at it, most of the time when you play in the SEC championship game, you're playing a playoff game. And if you lose that game and you have a loss, you're not getting in. So it is what it is.
Hey, shout out to you guys building a monster down there in the Southeast Conference, by the way. We go down, I get to go experience it. I experience Alabama, obviously, and I got a chance to experience down there in Georgia, in Tennessee. It's like, man, I understand what we're saying about everywhere, but down there, it's a religion. It is like actual religion. I've offended a lot of the religions down there, Coach. I will say. There's a lot. Yeah, go ahead.
I do think there's a cultural reason for that because I've always had the theory that if you look back historically, I don't care what it is, we're always adapting. Well, the NFL and pro sports adapted, but there was a time, even as late as 1970, where there were basically no pro sports in the South. I mean, the Atlanta Braves, maybe the Miami Dolphins came in at some point in time. So everybody in the Southeast grew up being college fans of some kind, whether it's football, basketball, they were college fans. And that's why you have such passion in this league, because people grew up with it and it's never changed. And I think that's what makes this league a little different.
Man, that was some good gospel I needed to hear. I need that. I'm thankful you just informed me of all that stuff. I would have never known that. That I should have known that. I'm on College Game Day every week speaking about this is kind of what people talk about, but that is a nice little piece of information for other people to truly understand whenever we're describing what it's like down there. It's just different. You got billionaires barking on their hands and knees down in Georgia. I mean, it is, you know what I mean? Coach, it is bananas. Let's talk about college football. Big story right now. And Coach, you can take this and answer it however the hell you want. Obviously, you're the greatest of all time. You're no stranger to talking about things. That goes without saying. True. Right now in Michigan, there's a story brewing, okay? In Michigan, one of the best teams in college football right now. They are executing. They are playing. Heisman candidate, a quarterback, unbelievable. Great football team. But what's dangling over their heads right now, and what will be dangling over their heads until we get a little bit of clarity on what it exactly is that they're stealing signs in a non-ethical way. That is the narrative. That's kind of what's being talked about, that they're sending cameras. They got a whole manifesto now that's kind of cooking up. They're stealing signs. They know what everybody's doing. It's a big allotted plan that has happened, but none of it has really been proven publicly yet. So we are just all echoing the hearsay right now. What are your thoughts on the sign stealing situation in college football? And how do you think this gets handled with Michigan? And has this ever happened before that we just don't remember?
Well, I don't know enough about the Michigan situation to really comment on that situation specifically, but I could give you the historical facts on way back when I was in the NFL. I'm talking about way back when, 88, 89, early 90s. You were allowed to send, pro personnel guys to, scout a game ahead of when you played it. And I think that it got to the point where sign stealing was unbelievable in the NFL. You had somebody that you hired to put in the box to watch signals, right, of the other team. And by the first quarter, we got the runs, we got the passes. And when I was a coordinator, I told the guy, look, don't tell me what you think they're going to do. We prepared. We know what we're going to play in these situations. We're going to play it. I don't want to hear it. It's just messing me up. But that became, and if you look historically, you'll know that there were reasons that they changed the rules so you couldn't do that. Then they come with the microphone, helmet, whatever they call it. And there was no sign stealing. There was no signs because it was just communication, which I think we would solve a lot of those problems if we would do the same thing in college football. There's no reason not to do that. There's no reason that you just can't tell the quarterback what the play is rather than having signs and signals and three people signaling and all this stuff to try to get the play, which is more difficult for the players, incidentally, because they all got to get the sign because everybody's going no huddle. And for the defensive players who are going against the fastball team, all 11 guys got to know the signals. All 11 guys got to know the signs because they're going fast and you can't communicate it rather than just being able to tell somebody this is the call. So that would clean up all this. And I can't comment on what Michigan did or didn't do, but I know all of us that have been in pro football kind of have a background in how some of this stuff was done at one point in the NFL when it wasn't illegal, but it became something that people took advantage of, so it became illegal. So that kind of is what it is.
What has the hesitancy been by the NCAA or by college football not to have the headphones? I heard it's potentially funds for some people not being able to do it. Is that real? What is the hesitancy behind? Because that feels like an easy answer. Like, hey, we'll just do this next week,
Yeah. Well, I think that what we need to do in college football is, there are people who can afford to do these kinds of things, and they're the great programs that a lot of people watch on TV. And it's important that we have opportunities for all levels of college football players. I'm all for that, and I'm all for supporting that. But for those who play in leagues like we do, who have the funds to do it in the SEC or the Big Ten or Big 12, whatever it is, we should be able to do it. The Power 5 conferences should be able to do it. If other schools can't afford to do it, so there's such a discrepancy. We shouldn't be living by the same rules.
Yeah.
It's different than taxes, I mean, some people that make a lot of money pay a lot more taxes than people that don't make a lot of money. Well, we should have the same kind of rule, differentiation, in college athletics, which we've always tried to govern it all the same, but it's not the same.
Yeah, and if one of those schools has to play against a team that has the headphones and they don't, by the way, should be able to happen with sponsorships and marketing opportunities somewhere, should be able to happen everywhere. But if you're playing against a team that has it and you don't, just like heated benches and stuff like that, have to be provided for the team that is playing. So it's not a competitive disadvantage in that particular game. Other than that, you're playing against everybody that has it, right? You are. Ohio State's playing, Michigan's playing against everybody that could have it. It's like basically we could eliminate and make competitive disadvantage or advantages kind of a little bit disappear in one. That would be good. Yeah. That'd be a good play. I think you have the voice to do it, though, Coach. I'm happy you're behind that.
Well, I just said what I think, so, I don't know if anything, but I'm glad that you at least listen. And we do agree on some things, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, some things, not all things, because I'm smoking that cigar. You know what I mean? I was smoking that cigar. Hey, so you don't smoke? Do you drink at all? Do you have beer, wine, anything?
No drink. I used to drink. When we had kids and my kids were growing up, I decided, I didn't want to set that kind of example for them. So I just quit drinking, and probably the best thing I ever did. Never have a hangover, never feel bad. Just don't do it.
Buddy, me too, man. I drink like 1/1000th of what I used to do. I have no idea how I used to do it. Like, I get a hangover now at this age, and it takes me out 4 days. It's like, bro, what the hell was I doing? It's a whole new world. It's a whole new world.
Yeah, I believe me. And you have more fun and you enjoy it more. You enjoy the relationships more. So I just, it's been a good thing for me. One of the best things I've decided to do.
Hey, you look good, too. You're looking young. I know you're turning another year older on Halloween. You look good. It seems like bye week has come at a perfect time for the team, and we can't wait to continue the conversation with you next week, boss.
Well, hey, I appreciate you guys, even though, like I said, I didn't want to make it clear that half of the stuff that you say, I don't agree with.
Okay, I like that. I like that. All right, that's good news. I'm batting 500.
Yeah.
That's what I just heard.
Hall of Fame
numbers. Capability gap.
Yeah.
Still at about 50%, though. We can really make some changes. We're moving. We're doing it, ladies and gentlemen. Greatest.
Moving in the right. I appreciate it.
Hell yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Coach Saban.
Yeah.
All right, so now we got to start. What is the 50%? What's 50% good? What's 50% bad?
You might have to just reach out to him on the side and say, hey, Coach, what are just get some examples of the 50% that you don't agree with?
Yeah, just so I can maybe work on myself, the capability gap. But also, I just got a great history lesson right there.
Yes.
How about that time whenever there was no professional sports teams in the entire South? Because you go down there and it's like,
or still not.
Feels different. Feels different down here. Like the games feel different. The people's passion feels different. And it's like, there's a reason. Because whenever we had nothing, this is what we had. And they've never left us. And that's real. Those schools are never leaving. Those traditions are never leaving. They will always be there in abundance. And I know there's some schools in places that have zero alumni and tradition and passion and everything like that when it comes to athletics. It's like those places, their fodder, their fodder's fodder, their fodder's 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 fodder, and even their fodder's 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 mother, stepfather too, one of the first people to ever get a divorce.
Yeah.
That person way up there.
Incredible.
They were all doing the same shit that they're doing right now. It's like a family tradition every single home game. It's sweet out there. It genuinely is.
Yeah, even Bama, when we did the simulcast, you could feel that difference. And honestly, him explaining it makes sense. What doesn't make sense is the NFL not putting a team in Alabama or something, just because they do love football so much more down there than.
Yeah, but will they? I don't know. That's the thing. It's like Jacksonville Jaguars are down there, and it's like they got to get going.
whenever they went.
Yeah, it's interesting. Duval loves Jacksonville because they're good now, but there was times there where it was tough because that's a lot of college football area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Joining us now is a man who got throttled at the beginning of this thing.
No.
Computer crash.
Sorry.
I apologize. I was not able to get him back as soon as he got it in there. We were in the middle of I mean, that was a good convo.
Awesome.
But we're about to have an even better one. Ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk. AJ, what happened, bro? You got throttled over there? What took place?
Yeah, who knows? Got throttled right before Saban came on, but I got to see pretty much all of that. He was awesome, man. You could tell he's getting more and more comfortable, I think, coming on the show.
I think so, too. I hope so. 50%. I don't know where he was at the beginning of the year, but capability gap.
What's he? Is it your alien take in Argo Land situation yesterday? Is that what he has an issue with?
They found another one.
Yeah.
Another Argo Land?
They found another.
Or alien?
Yeah, I'm sure.
What was that? Excuse me?
Can we see pictures of it, or are we just going to see drawings again?
Argo or alien?
How many years?
Either one. I'll take either one.
Time.
Sasquatch, too.
To be
Throw
clear,
Sasquatch up.
We already
there.
found him.
I saw it in between the hour over there. I went to the bathroom, scrolling X real quick, see if anything popped up. Just saw a couple words about it. Was going to save this for Feel Good Friday, but I didn't expect Argo Land to get brought up. But I do believe Argo Land kind of old news. I think there is a new one.
Okay.
Maybe even older. I think that's what it was seeing quickly.
Holy shit.
Yeah, we're just finding stuff, dude. And maybe he doesn't agree with Argo Land, but how? That's not me. It's scientists.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's unequivocally true.
People are attacking us for not agreeing with scientists. Scientists are telling me about Argo Land.
That's right.
And I'm agreeing.
I don't
Yeah,
like that
can't
these
win
Argo
with
Lands-
these
What are we doing? What are we? We're trying our best.
Agree with them? Disagree with them?
Why are these Argo Lands popping up now?
I don't know. Let's talk
We're not
about
asking
Argo
the right
Land,
question.
though, and maybe somebody from there. Wemby last night.
Holy
okay.
hell.
Here's the deal. He wasn't the star rookie of that game. There was a guy named Derek Lively II, I do believe, out of Duke, who was just flying around. I think he's like the second player in NBA history to do what he did last night, where it was like 15 points, 10 rebounds, and shoot above 85% or something from the field.
Yep.
I mean, you're just talking about taking advantage of every opportunity flying around. And Luka and Kyrie love this guy. Oops City for old cuz. And he'll throw his body around. Now, obviously, this is supposed to be Wemby's the big debut, and Luka's there, and Kyrie's there, and you're excited for, what's Pop going to say? Well, it was like, this dude came out of nowhere. I didn't even know he existed. And I'll tell you what, dog.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe the Mavs, maybe the Mavs going to run here with this little team here. You know what I mean? Maybe Kyrie and Luka figure out what they couldn't figure out last. But let's just talk about Wemby now. Okay, we gave credit where credit was due to Dallas.
Yep.
Way to go.
He's
Watching him walk,
Wemby.
watching him warm up,
Everything.
watching him
Shoot.
You feel like you're watching a superhuman. He takes off from halfway to the foul line, jumps 4 inches, does a full windmill dunk that looks bigger than anything.
Yeah.
He touches he stands there with his hands on the rim, and it's not like his joints should not be as good as they are. Like with how huge his everything is, his joints should be not good. And they are.
Yeah.
And he's been training like his ankle and his feet and like his knees since he was a kid because they knew he had this growth. He was a big guy. So he's like able to move as if he's somebody who's 6'6", 6'5". He has handles. They're just so much bigger, longer, and taller than everybody. And he can shoot and he can move and play defense. He's bananas.
Yeah.
Absolutely bananas to watch kind of just operate that the humans have this. Right? Because in the time with aliens, I mean, we're just talking about it.
Of course.
I mean,
the humans have him, right? He's a human.
We got one.
Yeah, we got one.
Yeah.
Hey, NASA, we got the Miles Garrett's happening. Okay, you talk about Wemby is happening. Still got Brock Lesnar, who's just kind of like, we got a crew. We got a, you know what I mean, if we need it. Wemby is an anomaly. This so fast, so cool. His head is touching the ceiling in an NBA building where they have to make the ceilings tall because the players are tall. He's shattered. If he was to walk into Jerry World, he would have hit his head on the Jumbotron that they had over the field before they lifted it up because people were punting it off it. He's massive, AJ, and he moved. He's fun. I will buy a ticket to go watch.
Oh, yes.
I will go watch it. I will literally go watch it, AJ.
I can't wait to see him, like his growth, like see a side-by-side picture between now and like say 3 years from now. He can put on 30 or 40 pounds of muscle and be even more of a force, I feel like, because you should not be able to move the way he can, especially like hitting the step back fadeaways and stuff in people's faces and then being able to go and dunk on them. Like, yeah, you're not supposed to be able to move that way.
Yeah, not supposed. It's a human. It's almost a mind blower.
It is.
Like, how is this even?
Imagine in person. Can you imagine watching that in person if you were courtside? Like, he's such a giant and he's just like a gazelle.
So humble, so like deep thinking, knows that he's like Andre the Giant knew that he was Andre the Giant, right? Like he understood who he was. Wemby feels like understands that he's been, given this incredible opportunity, and he's made the most of it, it feels like, from a mental, a physical, a game style. Now, last night was Derek Lively's night, but I think the NBA, Zion's doing his thing.
Yeah.
How about the Boston Celtics with Porzingis up there?
Of course.
It was a big NBA night last night.
Yeah, huge NBA night. Wemby is like fascinating to watch. Like it's cool, obviously, but it's like it's almost weird. Like I don't think anyone's accustomed to it yet. Not in a bad way, but like this guy's jogging down the court, and after they score, and he's at the 3-point line, and he puts his hands up, and it's like the only place he can go is to the corner. There really isn't anyone that's ever been like him, or possibly ever. And like I don't think he needs to add any weight. Like you look at guys like Kevin Durant, and you can say, well, Wemby's a big guy. Well, Wemby's first 2 shots that he made were threes, so it's not even like he's a traditional big guy. Like he's just an unbelievable basketball player. And, we talked about Bedard, and there was a ton of hype around Bedard, rightfully so. And it is almost the same, if not more, it feels like, with the NBA and Wemby, just because of the NBA's, entire, thing around the world. But I will tell you what, the referee that gave 2 fouls to Wemby very early.
In his first game.
Yeah, that guy's over in China now. He will not be refereeing NBA games anymore. He will be the #1 referee for the Shanghai Sharks, I believe. That shouldn't happen ever. He needs to play because in the fourth
football team.
Yeah, no, they play back. They're in the CBA.
Oh, okay.
But when Wemby played in the fourth quarter, the best part was like they finally just let him play. Like he had 5 fouls. He wasn't playing like nervous or timid. And they almost won the game. They really should have won the game, but Wemby only played like 21 minutes. But yeah, Zion all the way back last night.
Let's go, Zion!
Love to see stuff like that. I mean, him dunking again.
This is one
game
of many. He's on a streak.
He made it to the first game.
Come on!
It's got to start somewhere, all right? So at least we got one.
32 back-to-back possessions here. Chuck just dominated.
Yeah,
Don't you worry about it.
Scored the last 12 points for the Pelicans.
Give it to me!
Two-way player, Chuck.
To win the game he did it, Chuck.
That's right, AJ. He's slapping the floor on the defensive side,
you got
too.
to pump the brakes, though. The guy hasn't played basketball in 14 months. So, everyone's saying, hey.
He's fresh.
He better be fresh, and he better stay fresh. That's the whole thing. I love seeing it one game, okay? This is the first night of the season. All right, this is the same thing. This guy does this every single year. Let's make sure that he plays more than 12 games.
No, hour 34. Hour 34 and hater. What's going on?
I'm not hating.
As soon as I saw it, this is wonderful. This is beautiful for basketball. It's beautiful for the Pelicans. He played 32 minutes. He scored 23 points. Nice job.
Hey, that a baby.
Yeah, when's the next game?
That's what he's asking. Zion's like Ezekiel Elliott right now.
Ready.
He said, give me the next game.
Give
me the next game.
Hopefully not too much.
What? Like Coach Cowher said, put me in, Coach. Or
Zion. I think
know.
he's a lefty, actually, so he's doing this one right
He
now.
doesn't need to be doing that, though.
No, that's for games.
No.
He wants more games,
more
minutes.
Okay.
Not what you guys are talking
Now
about.
back to Wemby. Is he 7'2" or 7'4"?
4.
Yeah.
Probably 7'5" when he has his basketball shoes on, and then he's like 8'10" when he's got his
Does he
hands
have
up in the air.
siblings?
A sister, I do believe.
Yeah, sister, young
volleyball player.
Why wouldn't this couple have like 10 kids?
Him and his sister? Oh, the parents.
The parents.
Yeah, that's a great question.
I mean, like after he was
like the
14
Gronks.
years old and he was growing, they're like, oh, we got to have another kid 14 years later.
How'd you like to be the mom giving birth to a 3-foot kid right out of the gate?
Yeah.
No thanks. 2 is my max. I'm
that's
done.
Why they have C-sections.
Yeah, right, dude.
Yeah.
I watched my wife go through one pregnancy. I could not fathom. I don't know how. Shout out to all the ladies.
Yeah.
That is,
and the placenta coming out after?
Bro, the whole.
Yeah, Chuck.
Chuck, how about the whole 9-month
AJ
part,
eats it.
though, where their organs are just moving inside their body, and then it's just like.
How tall was he when he was born? Do we have the stats? Do we have his DIMS from his birth certificate?
65 inches.
Yeah.
15 pounds.
Yep.
So, because what, Shaq, they knew.
Shaq knew. Yao.
Andre the Giant, they knew. They knew of
They were like 4.5 feet when they were born, weren't they?
Bol.
Bro, but just think about he is so just
Smooth.
casual.
Fluid.
He's so casual with it. And I don't know what his steps are, but I assume they're
His mom and dad are
yards.
6'6" and 6'3", so they knew that he's probably going to be a little tall.
Yeah, imagine him at tight end.
How about that?
Oh,
How about
geez.
Game over.
Red zone threat. Are you kidding me?
Look like
a
stork.
What's
When
that?
you go get your checkup, second trimester, third, and I put is it a sonogram?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Don't look at me. I have no idea.
Talking to the parents going, Holy shit.
Yeah, it's still growing, yeah.
Wait till you see. Wait till you see what you got coming.
Hey, congrats to Wemby, though, man. Handling it all perfectly.
Yep.
Not easy. Not easy at all. I don't know if you saw Mike Vrabel yesterday, but he's back from a bye week where he went into a New England Patriots Hall of Fame, and he has the time, for a conversation with a reporter. Interesting, and I love it, and I appreciate it. Here's Coach Vrabel's press conference from yesterday, I believe.
Focus on the Falcons.
Well, that's
good. And we're going to talk about the Falcons. But why are you holding your hands like that? Well, then ask the question. No, I'm just saying, you look ridiculous. Ask the question, Joe.
Okay, let me ask you a question. On the 2 quarterback thing, would that be
against a really good defense? We have to run the football. Whoever plays quarterback.
Okay.
Whether that's
Ryan. Series, or that'd be like one guy's the starter.
No, we'll figure out the game plan as we work through the week. We may run the plays in with them. It could be by series, could be every 2 series. It could have certain things that we like. And we'll see where Ryan is, and but again, I'm excited if Ryan can't play that both. We're going to look at both of those quarterbacks, and we'll need both of them to help us win.
How was he holding them?
Falcons are doing some really good things.
You don't buy the adage.
Look at him gritting his teeth.
No, buy that adage. We got 3 on the roster, and see where Ryan is with his ankle, and go from there.
Hell yeah, Coach. Hell yeah, Coach.
Excited.
He does seem pumped, to take on the. I don't know if you saw this. Titans head coach Mike Vrabel on Falcons head coach Arthur Smith's weekly spots on the Pat McAfee Show. He didn't know about them until recently. Mike Vrabel will go on to say, I guess they got a bromance going on over there. I got to figure it out. Said he figured A.J. Hawk, a fellow Ohio State Buckeye, can handle both of them. All right, so.
They're swapping vests, too.
I love everything about that. Those 2 are tight, obviously, and that's a big game this weekend where they're going to see each other. But Will Levis and Malik Willis probably going to be split in time. We talked to Bill Cowher earlier today where he was talking about the time, and he put in Mike Tomczak and benched the other guy just because he felt like it wasn't working and he's got to do that. How do you think Vrabel is viewing this? And this is a pretty large story if you go back, not only this draft, the draft before, and then the offseason before with Tannehill. Seems like there's been one potential issue down there in Tennessee. And I think Coach Vrabel's probably sick of talking about it and would like to move along. Is that your thoughts as well, AJ?
Yeah, it definitely seems to be that way. He's ready to get to the game plan and figure it out. But it was interesting when he said we might send the play in with one of them. That's true. Who's going to wear the green dot? Who's wearing the speaker? The 2 guys can't wear the speaker if they're both going to be rotating in and out. So, yeah, they have a lot of, logistics to work through, I feel like, if Tannehill can't go.
What if they're both on the field every play? Oh. What if all 3 of them?
That'd be sweet.
Yes.
Tannehill's a receiver. We know that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, pistol formation out there. Mm-hmm. You got Tannehill, Malik, Will Levis. He's just
jocked.
Yeah.
So jocked out there. That's going to be, Atlanta, Tennessee.
Oh.
Buddy.
Black and blue bowl.
Buddy, that's going to be that is going to be that. We got Coach Artie Smith joining us in about a minute or 2. I will ask him about Vrabel's thoughts on our particular program and if they have chatted ever since then. He had a nice give and take with a media person as well at his press conference where, he seems like he doesn't maybe appreciate the things that we're focusing on and how we're focusing on them.
No, guys, if you guys really understand how things really operate, I understand outrage and drama sells. You're not, guys, if you really understand how things really operate, that there's nothing there. So I don't know what, I haven't given 1 second of thought about it. We're not going on this. We'll talk about the Tennessee Titans, the big game we have going on. I'm not, you can ask rumors and new windows. I can go find sensational stories. We can talk about climate change. What's your thought on climate change? You want to go down the road?
Nice.
We'll talk about world politics. We can do that too. I'm sure you got an opinion. What's your thought on climate change? No, I'm just saying. That's what you're doing here. Let's talk about the Titans and let's talk about the Falcons and let's talk about football. No, you got to do your job, but there's I'm saying
I'm just giving my point.
Everything you do, it's 2023. Everything is transparent.
It's amazing to think that he was being asked about the treatment of Bijan Robinson and the reporting of his injury and if he was going to play, if he was not going to play. And obviously, people were losing their minds on the internet about it all. And it got much bigger, I think, than the actual story, which it was. And then what he was being accused of, I think he was thinking, like, this is so dumb to even talk about. And I would have liked to hear a nice little climate change debate there.
Yeah.
Because I assume he probably would have had some solid thoughts on it all. Ladies and gentlemen, with a drive 5 on this glorious Thursday, head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, who are number 1 in the NFC South.
Oh, yeah.
Head coach Artie Smith.
What's going on?
Let's dive right in. Climate change. How do we fix it? I bought an electric vehicle. Okay, I bought an electric vehicle, so I'm trying to save the world. Some people still got gas. I mean, they're saying they're saving the world. I'm making it. No, I'm joking. I appreciate the fact that you kind of brought to the point that everything has to be dramatized and made into a big deal. I appreciate that that was your answer to that. Like, hey, I am giving you the response to your question. It's ridiculous. It got blown out of proportion. That situation, though, was blown out of proportion with Bijan. When one of those things happens on game day, I assume is when it takes place, how do you make the decision that's right for Bijan, most importantly, the team, and how you have to handle it all? What was that like for you, and does that come through your coach's manual as you were coming up in the game?
Well, Pat, it's for a lot of players. I mean, things happen during the games all the time, and you're changing your strategy. I mean, whether you're going with the hot hand or, you can tell somebody, need a couple plays here or there because something happened and, you're trying to fix it. I mean, there's all kind of decisions you make. But again, I understand why people, have questions about certain players because they're passionate about, their team or, whatever fantasy team they're on and like that. I got all that. But in a coach's mind, all you're trying to do is win a game. And it's like, so sometimes there's so many layers to it, but at the end of the day, like, I hope we're not devaluing winning a football game and decisions you're trying to make as a coach, whether I'm putting you out there to punt or letting you go back and drop back to throw, whatever the play is, to win the game. I mean, that's all your mind is. And so I can see every angle of it. So it's not that. I mean, sometimes the answer is really simple and people want it to be more than what it is because everybody, and I was just making a joke that, people love the drama and, hope there's some like conspiracy and, that's all I was trying to make light of. And I know it can get taken out of context, but maybe that's my sarcasm coming out of me.
Oh, yeah, I'd say. Yeah, I assume everybody understands it completely as you're giving that answer. But if that person does fire back with a climate change question, you are sitting in the pocket there? You're ready?
I'm always ready.
You know who else is always ready? Young Wei Koo, bro. Hey.
He's the best.
Dude, he had it was Steph Curry from 51. That's not a short kick at all. From 51, hits that thing and even does a walk-off as it's flying through the air with a little bit of a draw from the left to the right. It was beautiful. I mean, he knows, he's walking off while that thing's not even through. He's great onside kicker. Obviously, I got massive respect for that. But this dude seems to never get rattled about anything. I think there's a lot of stats that have come out since he's done this. He's one of the greatest of all time right now. What a weapon you guys have in your locker room, and what a kick for that dude.
Yeah, he's awesome. I mean, Young Wei, he's made so many clutch kicks the last couple of years. I love his whole demeanor. You know how it is, Pat. It's a tough job. I mean, you're sitting there, on the sideline and it's like your one shot gets magnified and it takes a special mindset and every specialist I've ever worked with are unique. You let them be themselves, I used to joke with Morstead. I got to work with Morstead. He had his little blowout bag and I used to want a theme music. He had to go in the work. It's my favorite routine I've ever seen. And Thomas is the best. So we had him a little bit here in 21. And so he needed to get a pump in. And then he comes rolling out like he's coming out of the bullpen and he has a blowout bag. And nobody knew what was in that blowout bag. So if hopefully somebody in New York can ask right now and find out what's in Morstead's blowout bag. He claimed it was extra cleats. It was all kind of stuff. But I thought he needed a theme music. So, again, that was Morstead's thing. Colquitt, I don't know if you know Colquitt. I'm sure you do in the punting mafia world.
All of them, yeah. All
of them, yeah.
Yeah.
And, he had his own routine. One of the funnier people I've been around. So, Yeah, we've been around a lot of them, and Koo's got this confidence, and it's real. Like, I love his build up. Like, when you get the TV camera, when you go back and watch it, it's great. Like, that's who he is.
I love that he has a little moxie out there. I love how handsome he is too. He is,
the hair is, I mean,
phenomenal. Get that helmet off as fast as possible, Young Wei. You have a weapon up. Yeah.
You need to find. We'll have to get you a copy of it. We have one of our linemen, Ryan Newsel. There's one of the most hilarious pictures I've ever seen in a celebration. Was trying to celebrate, and somehow there's a still shot of him choking Koo out in pure celebration. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. / best thing I've ever seen. We'll have to get that to you.
Yeah, please do. We would love to hang that in the studio. That is amazing.
I'm going to hang it in my office.
Okay. Will you sign one and send it to? Actually, can we get the choke?
Oh, we need Koo to sign it. And
yeah, and you on there certainly. But nice choke slam in the middle of a celebration. Get the boys going. AJ has a question for you.
Coach, you spoke about people like fan bases are passionate about their team. Obviously, something that I noticed when you watch your team play is how passionate you are on the sideline. So, are you aware of that? The fact that there's a camera on you at all times, and if you ever caught yourself saying, "Ooh, that was a weird reaction," or "Ooh, I wonder how that looks," and I wonder if you have any family or kids or anyone that tries to tell you, "Hey, Coach, hey, Dad, you look awesome on the sidelines. Like, we could tell you are really into this game."
Yeah, I've got I'm one of 10, so I've got all kind of family and cousins and friends, and I think so. You try not to show it. I am who I am, I guess. But when it comes down to it, you got to keep a clear mind as you're managing the game. But yeah, I don't care. I mean, I am passionate about what I do. I certainly, there may be a few times that I didn't like the look where, the players out there controlling and maybe you're frustrated, but that's kind of been BS on my part. But some of the other ones are kind of funny. But yeah, I don't care. I mean, I am who I am,
It's awesome.
Yep.
It's like you're getting magnified and slowed down to I think there is a camera just purely dedicated to this part of your body, with that mustache too, with the reactions. It appears as if you have a line across your face. It's been awesome to watch. Number one in the NFC South too. That's not getting talked about. That's not getting talked about. Hey, we're up there. We're doing our thing. Ty has a question for you, Coach.
Coach, it seems like this year you guys have had more fumbles out of the back of the end zone for touchbacks than any other team in the history of the NFL combined. And obviously, your guys are just trying to make plays out there. I'm just curious, is there anything you can do to kind of try to eliminate that, or do you kind of just chalk that up to just a product of bad luck?
Well, I mean, a couple of things. I mean, something that you work and it's Murphy's Law sometimes, but that's not an excuse. So there's always ways to work on it and fix it. And you're kind of looking at people's intent, and the rules. You can't happen, and why it happens. It's our job to problem solve that. So the other things I could give you would be excuses, but yeah, there's always things you work, and obviously what you're doing, if it's not working, you got to adapt, and you're constantly educating and coming with new drills and trying to put them in those situations. But yeah, we've that is the next step for us. I mean, we're finding different ways to sabotage ourselves in the red zone, and that's the next step. We got to clean that up.
Oh, it's as a fan of your program, first year as a Falcons fan, it's been fun.
Yeah,
it's been fun watching the boys grow. Watching the team. The amount of in between happiness and devastation, that play is the biggest one, just the biggest swing. And it's like you guys have it more often than anybody else. Nice little calluses built in the cardiac department watching you guys. Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Need it.
Yeah, now you talk about getting cussed out by your family. It's like, why do y'all do that to us? Like, why do you got to make it down? I promise you, we're not trying to do that. We're just trying to win and not do that. So
Connor has a question for you, Coach.
Yeah, Coach, kind of a two-parter here. First, obviously, you were with Tennessee. What's it like kind of preparing for a team and a coach that you were with, Vrabel, especially with all the familiarity between the both of you? And then the second part is scientists just discovered a missing continent that has been missing for the past 155 million years. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that as well, because I assume you've been reading the news all the time.
Mm-hmm. Well, the first part, in all seriousness, there's a ton of respect and gratitude towards Mike Vrabel. But every week you got certain relationships, former players or coaches. There's just so much respect on my end, the impact he's had on my career. But now it's our job to go in there and win the game, and so it's a big game for us. We need to go on another road one. A little disappointed that Vrabes hasn't grown his mustache back. I know he made some shots fired over parameters of our vest swap. I actually think the challenge should be Vrabes should grow his stash back, because that was the most pure Northeast Ohio thing I've ever seen. He had it at 19. I wish he would grow it back, but I guess he won't. But
thanks for letting us down, Vrabes. Thanks for letting us all down. Yeah. It's a good mustache.
Letting AJ and the rest of the Ohio State and people of Ohio down. But anyways, to your second question about the continent, I'd have to do more research. I haven't heard that one, so I can't give you a good answer.
All right. Well, Coach, I want to let you know, as we close out of ESPN, I'd like to inform you that you are the Atlanta Falcons nominee for the Salute to Service Award because of your service to the military and to everything that you do. Congratulations on a second time, and thank you for honoring the badasses of the United States of America. I was a finalist, lost to Coach Ron Rivera. We're all giving back. We all appreciate the hell out of them and you. Boom. Now we're off. We just hit a hard out right there, Coach. You just watched Bob Ross right there. I feel real good about where I'm at.
You should.
I feel real good about where I'm at right now. That's not normal. I feel really solid. But anyways, Coach, you are the nominee for the Salute to Service Award for the Atlanta Falcons. This is the second time you've been nominated. I would like to say thank you for being a human that gives back, not only as a football coach and making millions of people happy that are Falcons fans, but also to the folks of the military. Not just military folks, the ones serving, but their families as well. I've had a chance to go on a USO tour. I know you did one over in, I believe, where'd you go? Your Eastern?
We went to Germany, Romania, and Bulgaria.
Man.
So the Eastern Europe, man, that was a cool trip, and that's the area of the world now. Obviously, it's picking up among other things in the Middle East, and that was eye opening. It was the least we could do to give back.
Yeah, and when you meet them and you hear their stories, you think to yourself I'm nowhere near as tough, courageous, or as cool as these humans are. That'll sign a line that says yeah, if something pops off, I'll be the fucking one. I don't have that. I'm very grateful for that. And congrats to you kicking ass. And obviously your dad, Marine in that thing. I assume that plays the part, but you're a good human, Coach. You're a good human.
No, so are you guys. In all seriousness, I'm off the air now.
Yeah. No, we're live still. We're live still. We're live on YouTube.
That's all right. But that really was the inspiration for Ryan Nielsen, our D coordinator, and myself, our stashes. It came from those Army guys when we were riding around in those tanks with those guys in Bulgaria. We told them, some of them were rocking the stash that they could over regulations, and that's kind of been and Nielsen's, that was our inspiration while we're rocking the stashes right now.
Man, that is awesome. Coach, you continue to be more legendary every time we get a chance to chat with you. We appreciate your time. We're pulling for you, but also everybody else that gets nominated has done good for the community and the military, so we're grateful for everybody. You're the man. Keep going, Coach.
I appreciate you guys.
Hey.
Thank you.
Are you going to tell Vrabes about the mustache? You hoping his message gets to him? How are we getting him?
He'll get to him. He'll get to him. He'll find a way. He texted me after he shot back today, so I know this will get around to him.
We know you're watching, Coach.
Gonna be a physical handshake, you think, Coach, at the end? You got to pat each other's back really hard?
No, it won't be the one of those. I'm sure it'll be a little brief one, but no. I should go for the bro hug because he won't like that. That'll be a good.
Hold on to him for a while. Hold on to him for 20 seconds.
Yeah, real dramatic. He'll be so irritated.
Oh my God! Walk up to him, right, arms open. Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Guys.
All right, Coach Artie Smith. Thank you. We're just wasting his day.
All right, guys, I got to go coach the Atlanta Falcons real quick. They're waiting for me.
Let Braves know we keep trying to call him, too, and he's not answering.
Yeah, what's that all about? Yeah. Let's call him.
Get him back on the line.
You seem a bit frustrated with some of those media questions.
All right.
A little.
Why are you holding your hands like that?
That was awesome. And then him biting his teeth.
Braves, how was he holding his hands?
Yeah.
There's no way.
It had to be something.
He might.
Ridiculous.
He'll be on the field.
Yeah, I'm sure he has a cell phone on the field. Vrabes has boxing gloves on right now.
They're walk through.
This guy. What's his deal?
Too busy.
We're trying to do journalism.
Yeah.
Aren't we?
It's only
This
walk
guy.
through.
We're trying
It's
to.
only Atlanta. It's only AFC South, NFC South.
Big game.
Big
Both
news.
of them need it.
Yeah.
He's only got, 3 quarterbacks, which means maybe he's got no quarterbacks?
Yeah.
How do you think preparations going for Artie and Ryan Nielsen at DC?
Oh, yeah, I should have asked about that. That would have been a good
That's
football
what I had
question.
written down here, and you don't look at my deal anymore.
Well,
it's quick five, Chuck. It's quick
so
five.
the interesting thing about that is we kept him 15 minutes past the amount of time he was supposed to be on.
Yeah.
But we were in a good convo with him.
Great convo.
Should I just put this?
You want to shove it up your... Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Don't do that.
Yeah.
We need your brain. Don't do that.
Oh, yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't shove it up your ass either. There'd be
Hey,
so much dust coming
So we had Coach Cowher. Coach, geez, you were disgusting.
Coach Cowher.
Uncalled.
Yeah, that is. I've had a
Coach-
couple people tell me that you're maybe a little ageist.
Whoa.
Yeah, you.
Is
the
that
way
right?
you act.
Oh, is that all?
I like old
Well,
people.
you're right. Yeah, there's a lot of other things. that are said.
Whoa. What was that about over there, Tony? Easy.
Well, I think
How
it was-
about the Italian?
What? Whoa.
Proof guys pull.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not just Chuck that he gives a hard time. He gives
some
every single one of our guests a hard time. So he's actually
Against
very
everything.
encompassing.
No, but also against everything.
Uh-huh.
So that's just kind of how it is. But Chuck, you know that we absolutely enjoy the hell. But we certainly kept him way too long. Like I feel bad in the middle of some of these conversations because all these people we talk to, like Coach Cowher, I don't know, he's retired doing his thing. He's doing Sunday, and they said in that documentary, watching games with him is awesome. He's like legitimately, why are they doing it? They need to, I like what they're doing. This whole just always coaching and all the
He's
time.
super dialed into the NFL too. From listening to it when you guys talk, like he is up on everything happening.
I think that's what he, just kind of sweet hat.
Yeah. Just loves the game.
Very comfortable.
He was great. He legit great. Like multiple times, I was thinking, man, yeah, I would listen to a pregame speech from this guy every single day.
How about him saying that was the part that he misses is finding creative ways to get his messaging across? I know that was something that you read a lot of books, got into to develop different ways to get into the stories. Some of your storytelling was phenomenal. You need to know that. You were a great storyteller up there whenever you had to. That is something that I assume would be a little bit difficult for some people, though, to figure out new ways to deliver the same message.
Yeah, I don't know. I can only speak for myself, but I love Coach Cowher. God, we'd all play our asses off for a guy like that. But, yeah, that's there's a lot of stuff you miss, right? And then there's a lot of stuff you don't miss. Mm-hmm. All the media stuff and doing the pressers and all that shit. But being part of a team, being with the guys, the competition, the practice, the Wednesday meeting. I loved those Wednesday meetings. I mean, especially after you win and lose, to try to hey, we need energy, we need this. But that was the best thing. And those Saturday nights, those were
awesome. Instant classic Saturday night speeches.
Those were unbelievable.
Yes.
Those were great nights, and it was like that's what you miss about coaching.
Well, that's like sport though, in professional sports. Like you don't really get that in a lot of places. Like motivational speeches work where? Where do stories work? Movies, but also I guess like I'd assume military guys, there's some shit that's about to pop off and somebody says something and it's like life or death. Like, yeah. Let's go. Like I assume there's moments like that. Police probably, firefighters, EMT. Like I assume there's moments to give speeches and rally troops. But professional sports, it's on a regular basis. Like you are addressing team 4 times a week, every single week for like 5 months. Okay, you're talking to everybody all the time. How you come up with that messaging, I think, is a fascinating thing. But Coach Cowher's living on his own time. Coach Saban, though, boom, we got to have him locked in.
Yeah.
He's on a bye week, though, so I think he's living a little bit loose.
Right.
Did he say he's going down to the lake?
He did.
Saturday.
Yep.
He celebrated a birthday.
Birthday dinner.
A couple friends.
How about the joke? My mom doesn't know if she got a trick or a treat yet.
Classic.
Yeah, team's doing 43% less work this week, or 43% of what they normally do.
And I think that's a good thing, you said. Mm-hmm. But he does have it calculated like, all right, we missed out on 57% of growth. Okay, so we got to calculate that back into everybody's capability gap, and then we got to keep it moving in that entire thing. Great convo with him, and then Artie Smith in the middle of. It's been a hell of a coach Thursday.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah.
I love you, coaches.
I fucking love Arthur Smith.
Me too, dude.
Like genuine rooting for the Falcons. Never had that for any other team aside from the Patriots. Legitimately pulling for the Falcons to win because he's so awesome.
So this happened with the Packers whenever we had Aaron Rodgers Tuesday.
Yeah.
When it started, it's like, all right, I'm a Packers fan. Here we go. I'm watching because I'm going to be tasked with asking questions that people would probably like to hear that are watching the Packers play. I'm very lucky to be doing that. Let's go ahead and make sure we're in the right ballpark, and I think we did it. But then I naturally just became a fan of the team. I'm like, hey, we're going to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
okay. We're going to win a Super Bowl.
Speaking of Artie, did they have the locker room his speech afterwards or the talk or game balls? You know, they're doing a lot of that. I'd love to see that moment.
I haven't seen much from them.
Because that was a monster win for them because they weren't supposed to, win that game, and they go to Tampa and win that game.
Chuck, was that tough? Sorry to cut you off. Was that tough sometimes doing the post game? Because sometimes when they show some of those, it feels a bit awkward, and the head coach feels really weird, like he's not comfortable doing that.
You just got to block it out, like you just pick. Hey, nobody's in there, and just try to be.
Oh, really? That's your mindset?
No, that you have to.
So you're just talking to the team. In your mind, those cameras aren't even there.
Otherwise, it's gonna be weird. It ain't gonna be you.
You know what I'm saying, Pat? Don't you feel that sometimes?
Yeah, that would be. People are putting on a show right now.
But it feels awkward. Some of them feels forced and whatever. I'm like, man, this doesn't feel authentic right now.
Yeah, and they don't. I think there's probably people that feel like they can't say what they actually would like to say because do they want the whole world to hear this or just my team? Because there's things you say to your team, I think, that necessarily is supposed to be in-house. That's why, like, the Coach Dan Lanning speech before Colorado, you remember that came out? Mm-hmm. Where he was talking to his team and he was like, this isn't in Hollywood, this is on grass, and like this whole thing, and it got out. And there was a lot of other parts of that speech, a build up to that and I think an exit of that maybe wasn't seen as much. And when it got out, my first thought was, oh, Coach probably didn't think that was going out. And then everybody was like, no, he knew that was going out. And then you kind of learned, like, he didn't know that just one part was going to get plucked out potentially, but that can't affect your messaging because then you might lose a ball game. It's like it's
as long as you know that you got the final say on what goes out, you're good.
Right before the game, though, that's going to be tough.
Probably didn't.
No, I mean not that situation. I'm talking
in general,
post game.
Gotcha.
Yeah, in general. So if cameras are in there in Avis, our guys would like say, okay, look, you're going to get to see everything of this. So just be yourself, and then we'll let you cut out whatever you want to cut out.
You know what? So I was never mic'd up for NFL Films. They did ask twice, okay, and I passed. Adam Vinatieri, I don't think he's ever been mic'd up for NFL Films.
Yes.
I don't think a lot of people, necessarily.
Rodgers has not been. He will not be.
Well, he was. He has been.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He used to have to have a hard stance against that.
Yeah. So so now that we know the people at NFL Films. Mm-hmm. Okay, now that I know the people at NFL Films, like I would have definitely wore a mic for those people. But what the conspiracy is, anything you say, yeah, well, we won't put anything and put you out, but somebody has that somewhere.
Yes.
Somebody has that.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of things that people say about like coaches and maybe fans and situations, referees. Like there's other people they're playing against, people that are playing against them coming back. Like there's a lot of things that could potentially,
you walk up on a coach and you don't know he's mic'd up. You're playing against whoever, and you walk up on him and you start talking about some of the things that you're, alluding to right there.
Yeah. Oh, whoa. Yeah, players do the same thing.
Donnie Brasco.
Yeah, exactly.
D-Hop and Belichick last year when D-Hop went like this when Bill went over and they just had a quick little 2-second conversation because of it.
Yeah, it's real though.
Yeah.
That's a real feeling. But now that we know the NFL Films people, it's like literally only care about game. Like that is, they just want to preserve the game. They were a little bit worried about potentially never having any Aaron, because they follow with a camera, so behind the scenes footage forever, in the history of the NFL. They were a little worried potentially that they've never had anything from one of a guy's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. They're like, in this modern era, we don't. So I think him getting in there during Hard Knocks was a big deal. And I assume that he and NFL Films met, chit-chatted, and he has respect because they're a great group.
Yeah.
They are a powerful entity in the NFL. They have helped the NFL grow, but those mic'd up situations are where they get all the good shit, which goes back to the Bill Cowher thing. Bill Cowher's documentary, they have him mic'd up from way back in the day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They've just been everything in the history of the NFL they have. It's a beautiful thing. All right, let's get to a break. We have CC Sabathia on the other side.
Ooh.
Baseball is happening.
Yeah.
World Series.
Tomorrow.
World Series.
Friday. Tomorrow.
The Snakes.
Yeah.
Let's go Snakes.
Okay. I beat my Phillies, but let's go Snakes.
Go Snakes. Snakes up.
I think they got a Plum Burrow kit on the Snakes.
Is that so?
I just found that out this morning. So
SeaWorld?
Really?
Not.
Coach has a Diamondbacks tattoo.
Your dad?
Excuse me?
Coach Pagano?
No, Coach Diggs.
My dad, he thought it was a cool symbol, so he got that.
Are you serious?
Yeah, on his forearm.
Dog.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's cool, isn't it?
Need a photo of that on the wall.
Hey, Coach, keep doing it. We appreciate you, Coach.
Love you, Coach. Get back on that court.
I got to meet Coach.
No, buddy.
You too.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
You two would hit it off.
I am not happy about the information I learned from Coach this morning.
Yeah, that's bad.
Oh.
Can you pause the music, please, for a second?
What happened?
Oh.
It's not good, AJ.
The Plum Bocce team out of the Plum Italian Club lost to the Norwin Pepperonis in the semifinals of the Bocce Championship.
Devastating. There was a bit of a controversy, but
heart's broken.
They said the rocks weren't good. Pebbles were bad.
Big pebbles.
The ball is also not
Their
as
balls
big.
were a little bigger.
They contested it, really? They contested the loss?
You think the Plum Italian Club Bocce team is going to just take some bullshit from the Norwin Pepperonis? I don't think so.
No.
Are the Norwin Pepperonis known to be a formidable team?
They are a good
What do you think,
bocce.
Any
eyes
Northeast
on.
Ohio team
Full
would
of
mop
killers.
up anybody over there.
Are you kidding me?
You need to watch it. In the Plum Italian Club, Plum Bocce team, champions last year.
Yeah, had the belt.
Best in town. So when you're saying any Ohio, okay, you're going to have to come walking into Plum.
Yeah.
And that ain't changing. Even though the Norwin Pepperonis had a great day. They had a great day.
They're not called the Pepperonis.
Yeah, they are.
Yes, they are.
No
Literally.
way.
Dude,
That's
that's what Coach said.
No way.
They're the Plum Italian Club Bocce team.
The pepperoni roll.
I was
Well,
actually
no wonder they lost. The
My second
pepperonis is
life-
way cooler than that.
My second life,
I
you know
agree.
where I want to be born and where I want to grow up?
Where's that?
Frickin' Plum.
No, buddy.
With all the Guidos.
Buddy, okay, you want to say Coach
Dahn.
Pagano?
Yeah.
Coach Pagano.
Yeah, he could do it.
He said,
I can't, though.
of course not.
I have Italian in me.
Not as much as Chuck.
Whoa.
Let's get to a break. AJ has none. Look at that face.
Yeah, no.
I got more than you, that's for sure.
You did not. And also, I got, bam, my arc.
Yep.
That basically takes me to 100. That's my capability gap just getting filled.
Giving it to
I've had
him.
a couple of those gifted to me. I should start wearing them.
You have not.
That's so disrespectful if you have had a couple and you don't wear them.
Let's get to a break. I am losing respect for a lot of things right now, and I would like to stop that. This is a positive day, even though you're negative, you're negative, you're negative, you're negative.
Not true.
Let's get to a break. CC Sabathia will be on the other side. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. Take 5. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Lou Holtz.
Hey, thank you very much for having me back, Pat. First and foremost, listen, I don't know what the fuck happened, okay? I'm there at the start of the game. I'm with a lot of my former players, a lot of sweet boys who wanted to see Coach Lou. I wanted to see them as well. I watched the first half, Notre Dame. You know, they played pretty well. I mean, they hung in. And then I did what I always do. I flipped the channel over, I watched a little bit of Matlock, and I went to bed. That's what I do every single night. It's kind of my routine. I love that Andy Griffith, but that's beside the point. I wake up on Saturday morning, and I see Ryan Day taking fucking shots at good old sweet Coach Lou. It's bullshit. I mean, you go back, watch the game. Was I wrong? What did I say? I say they get out physical. And I said they get beat by Alabama and Georgia and Michigan twice. And Ryan Day's acting like some goddamn world beater. It took him the entire fucking game, 5 seconds left, to beat Notre Dame, okay? And they did it with Notre Dame had 10 guys on the field 2 fucking plays in a row. Okay, so he can take his victory dance and, I wonder where Coach Lou Holtz is. Hey, listen, Ryan, I might not always know where I'm at, but guess what? People do know where I'm at all times. I ain't fucking hard to find, pal. So if you want to come, talk your shit and say anything and sit down with me, you come find me, okay? I'll be standing here right on Library Lawn in front of Touchdown Jesus. We can talk about things, but don't act like I'm some dipshit. Okay, like I'm some moron. Listen, I know Coach Lou's old, okay, but guess what? Coach Lou can still read, okay? I was on Twitter the following morning, and guess what? Ohio State fans were talking that sweet shit all night long, saying, hey, this Ryan Day's a big dumb dipshit. This guy doesn't know how to call a football game, okay? They were ready to fire your ass 30 minutes into that fucking game, okay? You're lucky you won, son. You're lucky you won. And at the end of the day, Pat, AJ, all you guys know, if he doesn't beat Michigan, it doesn't fucking matter. Ohio State fans expect them to beat Notre Dame, okay? It's a much bigger game for Notre Dame than it was for Ohio State. But I mean, Jesus Christ, I'm 86 years old. You want to pick a fucking fight with me? I was sleeping, for Christ's sake. Just let me be, okay? But if you want beef, come find me, okay? Because I got beef all night long like Fogo de Chao. All you can eat, Ryan.
All right, thanks, Coach. Anything else, Coach?
Thanks, guys. Yeah, Notre Dame's fine. They're going to be just fine, okay? Sam Hartman still, I don't think his jersey, it wasn't that dirty. I said that was going to happen. You look back at it.
Field turf.
Basically, shut your fucking mouth, AJ. Show a little respect, will you? Okay? Basically, everything I said came true. So, yeah, Coach Lou may be getting old, but I think he still knows a thing or two about football. Go Irish, and Ryan Day, like I said, hey, you want to throw hands, buddy, come find me.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Love you, Coach.
Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Dan in Connecticut. Lovely place here on the 5 Energy phone line. What's going on, Dano?
Oh, what's up, Pat McAfee?
Dan, you are too young to listen to this show. I can tell. I think. How old?
I'm not Dan. I am Owen.
Mitt. Owen, how old are you?
Hey,
What?
let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for. The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers, you pig! Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life.
Sport.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Coach Saban Thursday, October 26, 2023. Hour 3 of this program starts now.
Football.
It's happening tonight, week 8 of the NFL season. Way to buy in. That's AJ Hawk. The Talks the Table is here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. One half of the Hammer.
Dahn.
Cowboys Turn Diggs is here. And a man who's coached for 36 years is currently 5-2 against the spread on Thursday Night Football.
Wow.
He'll be making his prediction later on in the hour. He's the people's coach, ladies and gentlemen, Chuck Pagano. And joining us now is an absolute legend, okay? Absolute legend. Let me read off some stats here, okay? Because you need to hear them.
Mm-hmm.
World Series champion.
What?
6-time All-Star.
What?
Cy Young winner.
What?
Played for nearly 2 decades. Ladies and gentlemen, ex-football guy who could throw the shit out of a baseball. Ladies and gentlemen, CC Sabathia.
What's good, fellas?
Hey, sorry we made you wait there for a little bit. I almost pissed my pants. Very thankful that you are here, and it is a true delight for us. We love you, CC. Thank you for coming, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me again.
Okay, let's dive in here. We can obviously start talking about the World Series, which starts tomorrow night on TBS, and all coverage on MLB Network is all day, every day, as the World Series starts to pop off. But what I would like to talk about is the baseball season as a whole. Okay, we've got to a point now where it's the Snakes and it's the
Rangers.
Bingo. Astros and Phillies get knocked out. Now we got the Diamondbacks and the Rangers. How's the season been? Was it a good season this year? Did that pitch clock change a lot of things? How is the year and how is the baseball that we're going to be watching in the World Series right now?
I thought it was a great season. I thought the pitch clock made a huge difference, shaving off time during the games. I mean, nobody wants to sit at the ballpark for, 4 hours watching a baseball game. So I thought the rule changes were great. I think, getting rid of the shift and some of these rule changes are why we're watching the Rangers and the Diamondbacks in the World Series. I mean, you look at a guy like Corey Seager, he got killed by the shift for many years, and now you take the shift out, and he was basically the batting champ and in the MVP running. So you look at the Diamondbacks and the speed and in which they play with, and the stolen base attempts, and the way they play the game. It just all links to the new rules. So I thought it was a great year, and I think we got two teams that really leaned into the new rules and kind of played with their rosters and adjusted it to the way that the game's going to be played. And now they're sitting in the World Series.
World Series starts tomorrow on Fox, but I do love to hear that for the good of baseball. For the good of baseball, the rules changes have made it better, and we're going to continue to evolve because it's been electrifying to watch these playoff series. I will say, it's been awesome these last few weeks. I should watch more, I know. AJ has a question for you.
Do you think the clock, do you think it helps one side more than other, like the pitchers more than the batters? Or, like, I'm thinking if you're a pitcher, can still kind of control the game and control the pace of everything like you might want to in the past?
Yeah, I think at the beginning of the year, just like everything, the pitchers have the advantage, but it quickly changes. The hitters kind of caught up and, figured out a way to adjust their kind of, in game, at bat, the way they, the way they kind of take pitches. So I think they adjusted really quick, and I think they got used to it really fast. And we didn't see that many violations. I think everybody was freaking out about the way the game ended in spring training and all the rule changes and all that stuff. And as the year went along, you hadn't seen any violations. And in these playoffs, you haven't seen any violations. So the players have adjusted, and the hitters have now kind of caught up. But I think you're right. At the beginning, the pitchers were using it as an advantage.
Are we still using spider tack? Hey, when I saw Ginkle doing with that ball, hey, that ball was going from head to toes real quick. Straight shot, unbelievable RPMs, I would assume, with the pitching. Where are we on that? Are they still checking pitchers every single inning? That got uncomfortable, I think, didn't it? I mean, that was a weird situation.
Yeah, I mean, the checks, I feel like, got uncomfortable, but I feel like they were needed, right, with the spider tack and the way that the game was going. So, I still see them doing checks, after innings, and even when guys are coming in from the bullpen. So, spider tack had really changed the way guys were able to spin the baseball and affected velocity and spin rate and all of that. And the hitters were put at a real disadvantage.
So was spider tack around when you were playing or no? What were the...
Man, you know what? Apparently it was, but I wasn't in the circle. So, it kind of pisses me off that, the guy that was making the spider tack, I know him really well, and I had no privy to any of this information. Maybe it's because I talk too damn much, and I would have told everybody about the spider tack, and it wouldn't have got as big as it got. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely around when I was pitching, and I had no idea.
Well, so it's always been a part of the game, is what we learned through the whole spider tack situation. It's it was just taken to a level that was morally incorrect. Kind of like what was the garbage cans, right, with the Astros. Kind of like what happened with New England with the cameras, what's happening with Michigan. It's spider tack. Is that what it was for pitchers? Is that kind of what it was viewed as? Almost it's too much. You're doing too much. Is that why it's kind of got? Yeah. Sorry.
The perfect example. Just kind of crossing the bar, just doing too much, and when it starts to affect the way normal guys are turning into now. Great pitchers, you got to take a look into that.
Yeah, I agree. I learned about it in the moment, and I thought to myself, would that have helped me? Couldn't it strike?
It would have definitely helped you. It would have definitely helped me, too, if I would have known about it.
Hey, I forget your story. You played football, and then you're just an uber competitive guy who wants the ball in your hand in the big moments. I think you told us a story about how if old buddy came out to tell Rivera
was the only guy who was giving the ball to.
Yeah. If anybody was coming out to take a ball from you, it's is it Sandman about to hit right here? Is Mariano Rivera coming out here, or is it somebody else? No, somebody else before that. Okay. Well, me at 60% is better than that guy. Get the hell off there. I feel like that's a massive piece of these playoffs. I was watching, a guy got subbed in to pitch. I think there was 2 outs, but the bases were loaded, and he had this long season. I assume it was a great season.
Mm-hmm.
He gets in there, though, and somebody hits a bomb on him, and they lose that Game 7 of that. That dude's offseason has to be the worst of all time. Everything he did all season does not matter. That pitching position, you have to be a dog, it feels like, right? And which team has it and which team doesn't here in the World Series? I assume both, I guess.
I think even more so being a relief pitcher, the scenario you just described, because you can have such a great year, and then once you come in and do something memorable, which blow a game, then that's all people kind of remember. You know what I mean? Not all the saves and everything that you did all that season. It's kind of a thankless job. It's kind of like being a kicker in the NFL. Nobody really notices you until you do something bad. So being a relief pitcher is definitely hard, and especially in those situations in the playoffs and. You get those one-offs. So everybody remembers, Jose Altuve hitting a home run off of Aroldis Chapman in Game 6 in the ALCS. So those little things people, tend to remember, not all of the greatness that Aroldis Chapman has. So, for me, I think in this series, I like Texas's pitching, especially their starters. Bruce Bochy lets them go deep in the games, kind of save his bullpen. So, I feel like they might have the edge in this series as far as pitching goes.
I feel like that's the game. I don't know. Ty knows more than me, though, pal.
Yeah, speaking of that, CC, I'm just curious, when you do, the Rangers, they're obviously pretty heavy favorites here because of not only Scherzer and Eovaldi, but Monty's been pitching unbelievable. But why do you think that, the Diamondbacks this postseason have kind of, in a couple of these wins, went bullpen by committee where, you're seeing 7-8 guys pitch? Why do you think teams are kind of going more towards that angle as opposed to, like you mentioned, just putting the ball in Scherzer's hands and having him give you 7 good innings and then just going to your setup man and then your closer?
I think just teams are just short on pitching. You know what I mean? I think teams are just, the way the game had been set up, teams are just short on starters. And I think people have found out that, if you can run relievers out there, if you can run your high leverage relievers out there and not let hitters, see the guy second or third time around, it kind of works. So with the way that the Diamondbacks play on offense, button guys over, stealing bags, getting 3 or 4 hits in a row in the inning, it kind of helps them if they can go a bullpen game the way that they play the game on the offensive side, because they don't need many runs to win a game if they have a bullpen game.
Go ahead, AJ.
Is there anything that certain batters would do that would just drive you crazy and you just hated and want to just throw at him maybe? Or maybe you felt like, hey, I don't like pitching around this guy?
No, absolutely. Taking too long to get in the box. So that's why the pitch clock would have been great for me. If I'm standing up there on this what Pat's doing right there, like that pissed me off. Like, let's go. Like, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I got shit to do after this game. Like, I got a family waiting on me. I ain't got all day. So the pitch clock would have been great for me. I wish they would have put that in while I was playing.
I mean, motherfuckers were ridiculous with it.
Oh, yeah.
I remember watching like a big game, obviously it would probably be World Series or something, and this dude tightened his gloves every single pitch.
Oh, Nomar?
Nomar used to be.
Sean Casey, too.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. I'm like,
even if you look at Bryce Harper last postseason, the amount of time that he took to get into the box, and now you look at it this year with the pitch clock, he made an adjustment. So, I think people were so, scared and up in arms about baseball making a change when, every sport makes changes all the time and, to evolve and get better for the sport. And I think baseball did that. And I think, the players have adjusted and the game's gotten better.
Tom has a question for you.
Yeah, CC, I feel like I noticed more this playoffs, like guys like Ranger Suarez or Evaldi or Brandon Pfaadt who had okay regular seasons, but then they come in this postseason and have just been absolute nails. Like, what is the biggest difference pitching from the regular season to the postseason, and why is it like guys like that have just been unbelievable in the postseason?
You know what it is? I think it's just, being able to lock in. And the postseason is just a month, if you think about it. And certain guys can get hot during the month. And I went to Game 7 and watched Brandon Pfaadt the other day. His fastball to sweeper combination is ridiculous. I sat down low, and I was watching some of the swings that the Phillies were taking, and I couldn't tell which pitch it was. I couldn't tell if it was a fastball or the sweeper. So his deception that he has right now, he's just locked in, and the way he's throwing the ball is great. But if you really just think about it, it's just the month of October, so he's having a great month. Guys like Evaldi, Scherzer, these type of guys, I mean, they've been there and done that. So I would always just, even for me when I was pitching, I would always just tell the guys, just get me to the tournament. Like the summer, I'm just trying to stay healthy. You get me to the tournament in October, I'll be ready.
We had some highlights running on this back screen as you were giving an answer. You were awesome. I mean, you were awesome to watch, too. I mean, you are dog. I mean, look at that walk, dude.
I lost about 2 people since then, though, man. Look at that belly.
Hey, but that weight was, driving the speed, pal. It was driving the speed right now. Is there any pitch So inform me here as just an absolute ignoramus when it comes to baseball. Like Mariano Rivera did the splitter. Cutter. There's some people that can't do that. Like your arm just can throw certain pitches better than like other people. He could throw that pitch better than everybody else, and he couldn't throw any other pitches. Like why are the pitches for pitchers in the MLB?
Yeah, the way he threw his cutter, I honestly don't know, what made his so much nastier than everybody else. I mean, obviously, I got a chance to play with him, and he taught me it, and it extended my career because I started throwing it, but his was just, it was unbelievable. He threw one pitch for 20 years, and he's the best pitcher to ever pitch. You know what I'm saying? So that's just one of those one-off things where you can't really explain, why Mo is Mo. But being able to spin a baseball is kind of like being able to spin a golf ball. If you playing a lot of golf and you understand the way it comes off the club, it's just the same thing, understanding the way it comes off your fingers and being able to spin the ball. The more you pitch, the older you get, the more you understand it. And, I wish I would have knew a lot of the stuff that I knew when I was older, when I was younger, and actually had the ability and the body to put a lot of that stuff and to implement it.
Okay, so guys are developing their toolbox every single offseason. Like pitchers are just building new pitches and new pitches.
And that's why I love the game of baseball, and that's why I love golf. And they kind of mirror the same thing, because you're never done. You never master it. You can always add. You can always get better. With the game of baseball, I feel like more so than basketball or football, you kind of max out, I feel like. But with baseball, it's just infinite. You can keep going, and same with golf.
How come you guys don't just add the knuckleball? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I threw a knuckleball in high school. They took it away from me.
Why?
Because it was kind of trash, but I definitely threw it in high school.
The ball had a lack of spin. It didn't move much. But why is that one not, like, it's just hard to throw? It's a very difficult.
It's really hard to throw.
Oh, okay. Because Wakefield, just only threw that,
yeah.
right?
Strictly.
I remember when he showed up. What years was he playing? Rest in peace, obviously.
Wow. Yeah, 90s and 2000s?
Yeah, but maybe in high school, a baseball game would come on, and then you watch this. It's like a show.
Yes.
It's like, how much can he get this thing to move? I felt like that with Ginkle the other night with his curveball. There was some nasty shit being thrown the other night against the Phillies. How'd the Phillies lose, CC? Okay, like how'd they lose? They were supposed to win. I was supposed to be a fan of the team that wins the World Series.
I think they got beat. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I think everybody wants to talk about how they choked or how did they lose 2 games at home. I think the Diamondbacks just went in there and played good baseball. They got timely hitting. They pitched well. Their bullpen showed up. And I mean, like I said, I was at Game 7 and just watching Corbin Carroll. Every time something needed to be done right, he did the right thing. Hitting the ball up the middle, getting the guy over. They bunt guys over. They steal bags. They just play the game the right way. And sometimes when you do that consistently, you end up winning baseball games.
Hell yeah. Well, I can't wait to watch who is the next World Series champ.
Hell yeah.
You got the Arizona Diamondbacks. You got the Texas Rangers. Good luck out there. It all starts on Fox tomorrow. What are you doing? Are you on every microphone? Hopefully.
Oh, yeah, I'll be there. I'll be at the games. I definitely the atmosphere in Texas is crazy. It's a lot of fun. So I'll be there, and I'm looking forward to seeing Arizona.
How's the golf game?
It's getting there. I'm on my way to the course now. Hey, I was at the Champions Dinner at my country club the other day. I got most improved golfer of the season. So
wow,
that's a big accomplishment for me right there.
Hell yeah.
Did you guys have a lunch? Did you have a lunch for that? Most improved golf?
Yeah, it was a big dinner, so it was good.
Did you give a speech?
No, hell no. I just got my trophy. Keep it moving.
You just picked it up and did one of these. Hey, to next year.
Thank you.
To next year. You guys said I was trash last year is what I just heard. But yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, absolute legend in the baseball world, CC Sabathia. Thank you, pal. All right, man. Shout out to him.
He's awesome.
He is awesome.
Yeah.
Most improved golfer.
Pretty good.
Big deal.
That's a huge deal.
Tell me about it.
I'll tell you what, I'm excited for the day whenever, like guys just go to these clubs, these golf clubs.
Yeah.
They're just having cards during the day. Maybe we go golf a little bit and go home, have a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, babe, good to see you. Just like work life was for the last 40 years. Going to continue it. I'm going to go golf.
Mm-hmm.
Guys invest a lot of time. A lot of guys never get better, AJ. That would be tough for me. You know what I mean? That would be very tough for me. I think CC got better. That's good for him.
That's great for him. Yeah, I know plenty of people that play a lot of golf. And then the old classic, they sit there and, they shoot 60 on the front nine. They say, I never play like this. I never play this bad. And I'm like, okay.
All right, AJ. Well, you play great, and you have the golf gods on your side. Speaking of that point, we talked about that with JJ yesterday. You know what else we talked about with JJ yesterday? We talked about players-only meetings and what they normally mean, and from his experience in the NFL. He's been in a couple different facilities. He's obviously been one of the greatest of all time. Mm-hmm. He's a pretty observant human. I think we've all realized that. This is what he had to say yesterday about when you hear about players-only meetings. How was the players-only meetings with you, JJ? You lead the way up there?
If you're at players-only meetings point, just go ahead and book your January vacations. I mean, that's just go ahead, get Cabo, get your flights lined up, because if you're having players-only meetings, it is over, buddy. I have never been in one where I came out of it and I was like, yes, let's go.
Figured it out.
Like if you're in players only meetings, like you're just literally kind of looking around like, oh, okay. So, and then this guy comes up with a super passionate speech and he's like, guys, we got to play for each other. We have to do this. And then this other guy's like, yeah, but we're not, it's the coaching, man. This is some stupid shit. And like, and then this guy over here is like trying to defend the coaches. And he's like, no, man, it's not them. It's us. And it is a nightmare.
So he said that yesterday. And I know we're talking about the NFL, and that's from our experience. But last night, after one game of the 2023 NBA season, it has been reported that the Chicago Bulls are already calling players-only meetings. One game, they said, you know what? Bring it in. We need to have a talk. What was training camp for? What was the last offseason for? Vibes should be at least a little bit high. They lose by 20 at home opening night. There's a little bit of an altercation between Billy Donovan, great at Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Great at Florida.
Champion.
Great at OKC.
And one of the players, he's been there for 3 years, and they have not really won much. And then they lose by 20 opening night, and they say players only meeting. AJ, are we assuming the NBA world is very similar to the NFL world, and that means they need to start booking vacations for immediately after the regular season ends?
I would say it's not a great sign after night one, home game, home loss to have this, but it's also, I think it sounds like it's a little different. It didn't, they said the coach, Billy Donovan, walks in the locker room. He saw them arguing, having some kind of situation. He said, you guys want me to get out of here so you can handle us? And they said, yes, please leave. We will figure this out. That's a little different than a players only meeting, but it also doesn't mean they don't like their coach. What does it mean?
No, I don't know. Or maybe it means we got to handle this. There's nothing the coaches can do. How do you think the coach feels about getting told, like, yeah, we can handle this. We don't need you right now?
Well, that's some information we didn't have.
They have it. Bingo. I think that's a big deal right there.
That's huge right there.
That's a big deal.
Walking into that and seeing a couple guys and saying, okay, you guys need a minute to figure this out. And they say, yeah, coach, can we get – so you don't know what that felt like.
So that's better? That's better or worse?
Maybe.
Better.
It might be.
I think it's
No,
better.
at least it was like you walked in on it and they're going at it and, hey, you guys need a minute? Yeah, coach, can you give us a minute? Just give us a minute. This is something that we have to figure out.
I think it's better. Or, I mean, it could be also catastrophically worse.
Well, I want to say that one game.
That's what he said to the media, too, though. He could have walked in there and they could have been arguing with him like, get the fuck out of here. And he was like, all right, you got it.
You got it. Yeah, I don't know. It's working either. Just lost by 20. I agree.
Yeah, right.
Maybe somebody else will get the message in there better. Zito, Chicago Bulls fan, obviously. How do we feel about the state of the Bulls, pal? That's not good news.
Well, a question for you guys. Is there a pro to this that the players actually care and they want to get better?
Yeah, that's what that
Amen.
means. That's what players on the meetings mean.
How about the positivity? 234 Zeets.
Yeah, super positive.
That's awesome.
That is super positive.
OKC, too. They might just be really good. There's a chance. Even though...
I mean, there is a silver lining in it that the players do care, and I think that's what the messaging is supposed to mean whenever players-only meetings are called.
Do you think they saw this coming?
What's that?
A
20
beatdown
lost
at
by
home?
20?
Lost at home.
I guess they would have had to, right? That's probably why they wanted to have a chat afterwards.
We had sources that did not see this coming.
No way. Yeah, they have so many good players on their team. And granted, like they've had some shit they've had to deal with Lonzo Ball and everything, but there's no way they were expecting to lose by 20. They were favored by 2.5 points.
Well, out of 82, though. We got plenty more.
Absolutely.
Hey, long season left, Bulls.
Come on.
Come on,
Figure it
Bulls.
out.
And just a heads up to everybody, I don't know if you caught it earlier, Pacers are really good this year.
Score the most points.
Indiana Pacers are really good. Bruce Brown's unbelievable. Showed up in overalls, shirtless.
That one?
He did?
Bruce Brown?
No,
Congrats.
not this Bruce Brown.
Oh, okay.
Not this Bruce Brown, although I do believe this Bruce Brown could get buckets if he had to.
Yeah.
In the paint.
Certainly.
Bingo.
Still buckets.
Bruce Brown is fucking balling, though.
Yeah, absolutely balling right now. He came into the Pacers. The Pacers coach, the guy that looks like Jim Carrey.
Rick Carlisle.
He said he looks. He said I get in real early, and he said Bruce Brown's always in here before me every single day. Consummate professional. The guy knows the deal.
Won a championship last year. I mean, he's perfect for Indiana. They also played like 18 guys last night, so that's always a huge deal.
They have 18 guys on there?
They had so many players play. It was ridiculous.
I was at the game. The bench was low. There wasn't enough seats for everybody. There's so many damn players.
That's the NBA. The way they handle that is absurd. Joining us now is a man who is a big proponent of players-only meetings and motivation. Ladies and gentlemen, JJ Watt.
Whoa! On a Thursday.
JJ, thank you for making some time for us on a Thursday here, 2:35 Eastern. I don't know what time it is where you are. It's certainly more beautiful.
Neither do I. Don't worry.
Okay, looks great haircut. Hey,
Yeah.
hair looks good.
Need to rock that
Thank
more.
Hair looks good.
I heard we were talking players only meetings. I heard we're talking players only meetings in the NBA after day one.
Yeah, they're happening, JJ. It's happening. It's not good. Now, there has been a little bit more information told about said players only meeting where allegedly coach walked in and said, boys, you guys need a minute? And they said, you know what, coach? We do. And then he left. Allegedly, that's what happened. But it's being described as players only talking to each other after one game. 82 of these, JJ. Does that change your thoughts a little bit? Maybe there's a little bit of ownership here early.
I do like the context. I do like that it wasn't a specifically called players only meeting. It was more impromptu, like, just give us a second. But I would say that is a concern. I would say that is a concern moving forward, is if you're having to shut the locker room down and make it a no-enter zone after night one, I don't know if I'd be booking Jostins to make the rings anytime soon.
Jeez, JJ. A lot of season left. They got a good roster.
Great roster.
Billy Donovan coached really good.
Yeah, Zach LaVine, Vukovic, DeMar DeRozan's on that team.
Caruso.
Name some more people so I can try and jump in this conversation. That'd be great. I'd love it. I don't know a lot about it. I just joined in because I heard players only meetings. Pat Beverly's still there. I love Pat.
Yeah, I don't think so.
He is not there.
I don't think so.
All right. Damn.
It's all right.
I mean, I'm not going to act like I know about it. I don't.
I don't either,
I'm not going to speak knowledgeably on it.
Yeah, JJ, neither do we.
Hey, Coach.
What's up, buddy?
How's it going?
Awesome, man.
This is Thursday.
You're incredible on this show, by the way.
You are. I love you. You're a great guy. I love you, Coach. How are you doing? Life good?
Life is awesome.
How's the family?
Beautiful.
How's the family?
Had your brother down there for a while in Houston, so I got the whole family.
Remember I came down and spent a couple days with you after I got whacked in Indy?
Yeah.
I was off in the 218. I saw you and Billy O go at it that day.
They fought.
Oh, is that right?
They fought each other. What was it? They fight on this Thursday. This is good. We'll get the truth here.
Coach?
What they do? They fought.
Hey, remember you guys you had Washington down there, I think it was, right? And D-Hop and D'Angelo Hall, right? Remember they went at it?
Yep.
Neither of them wanted
we were at Washington for training camp, and D-Hop and him got into it. That was when Hop said, I only answer to God or something. It was a badass line.
I'm the same as you.
10 minutes into practice, neither of them obviously, they got together and said, okay, hey, let's get it on. Get ejected out of this.
Yeah, and then I think
D'Angelo Hall
he tore his
Achilles.
Achilles or ACL or whatever. That was on Hard Knocks. I mean, that was quite a video on the internet there for a bit. Great players.
Awesome.
Incredible players.
Absolute vet move is getting into a fight in the first 10 minutes of a joint practice.
Yes.
Just get out of there.
That's what I need to start doing.
Well, I appreciate it, guys. I don't know what I just nice to see you today.
We're not
Love
necessarily against if the players said, hey, we need some time.
Need a moment.
But it is alarming.
I'll tell you, it's got me watching the Bulls now. I'm going to watch the Bulls.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know when they play tonight, tomorrow, but I'm going to see that game. Let's see how they look.
Hey, we're going to be watching Burnley this weekend, too.
Hell yeah.
Oh, Burnley.
Here we go, JJ. Here we go, JJ.
Here we go, Gumper. Here we go. Get that. I can't say anything about anything, but just, tune in.
That's right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
See you guys.
What's that game on? Where's it at? MGM Plus?
Maybe. I think it's on Peacock Plus.
Yeah, they do Peacock, USA Network, NBC. They're everywhere.
Yeah, hell yeah. It is being shown somewhere.
Saturday,
That's what I'm learning about everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is being shown somewhere.
It's like Saturday, 9 a.m., so perfect for you.
I know everybody's, perfect. Everybody like bundles, their stuff.
Yes.
It's hard to find. MGM Plus got introduced to our life today. Did you see that with Bill Cowher?
Yeah, I haven't heard that one as a part of any of the bundles that I have right now.
Me neither. It's like definitely would like to support.
I know Paramount Plus. I know about that.
I'm telling you, I was told.
It used to be, I read it used to be Epix.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
And they changed it.
MGM Plus? So like HBO turned into Max, right?
Yes,
Just
Max.
Have they had anything since Secession ended?
No, but I believe the House of the Dragon's going to be coming back here soon. Usually, like this, this is kind of like a lull period
don't
in
wanna go against
football.
Yeah,
We're
they
still in strike, aren't we?
What
We're still in
happens.
strike?
That is still a thing
Actor
as well.
strike, right?
Yeah.
And the writers had their strike.
Right, that is done.
So we can start working on scripts, but we don't know who's doing them yet.
Right, exactly.
Because the actors are still pissed, AJ.
I thought they were kind of like a packaged group. Didn't the actors join the writers later on?
I think they did combine it sometime because it was a part of the circle. is this part of the circle. But one circle got removed with what they were doing, so they're still doing their thing. You know what I mean? I think they were still, common enemies. I think, but the actors weren't able to figure it out yet. But if they put Hangman at the front of that negotiation, it'll get handled.
Yeah, just have to take his shirt off and flex.
He's got a movie coming out where he does that.
Let's go.
He does.
What's it called?
A rom-com.
We're not watching any of these horror flicks, right?
No.
Nick watches one a night.
Yeah, he does.
What?
I mean,
Not one a night, but I've watched a few. It's Halloween. You got to watch some, yeah.
So there's a couple that look like they maybe have a fastball. I was watching some previews.
Don't watch any. I promise you this.
New ones?
Now, with our new situation, ours,
babies?
Which is?
Yeah. Don't watch anything involving any exorcism.
Yeah. Like the Apple TV show, Changeling, do not
It's always
click on
kids that
that
are possessed, and I don't want to even deal
Scary.
with it.
No way.
I forgot what hour it was.
I don't watch any horror films ever.
No.
That's not. I watched that one. The one.
Conjuring? Paranormal
Activity?
Yeah, that one. I was like, all right, yep, never doing this again. Why would I ever even think about doing this instead of like laughing at a comedy movie or something like that?
QB Halloween only.
Well, that
That's
one
tradition
stinks.
every
Definitely.
single Halloween.
Classic.
Bingo.
Hocus pocus.
Halloween time.
Yeah.
Do any of the old ones hold up? Anyone know? Like Candyman was very scary when I was like an elementary school kid.
They just remade that, actually.
Leprechaun holds
Bro,
up.
Terrible.
Are any of the new
Leprechaun's
ones?
good.
You like the scary ones, AJ? Obviously.
Around Halloween time, I'll watch some scary ones. I'm not I told you the Exorcism of Emily Rose. I've watched that one night by myself.
Nope.
That was the worst decision I ever made. I won't do that again.
Did you guys watch the original? With Linda Blair?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Don't watch. I don't.
Blair Witch
not.
Project?
No.
So you guys are scared by
Exorcism.
this shit, though? Yeah, we get actually scared.
Oh, yeah.
Shoot.
Okay, me too. So that's
Yeah.
why I choose not to watch it. You sign up and you're like, you know what? I want to not be able to sleep tonight. That's what you do?
If it looks like it could be very good, I might give it a shot. Yeah, but then I tend to regret it because I will definitely be scared walking through, turning lights on, checking corners. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just a
Under the
movie,
bed.
guys.
Like killers
Yeah,
don't.
no, it's not
Killers
though.
don't scare
Not
me,
just a
but
movie.
possession ones scare the fuck out.
The
of me.
Exorcist stuff,
Completely
though,
agree. The
'Cause
serial
that's
killer
real.
stuff doesn't
Yeah.
scare me. Like the
I'll shoot
Blair
that
Witch
guy, double tap
Project,
him in
the
the chest.
Conjuring, like stuff where it is like religion trying to take out the devil. I don't like that.
You don't like
stuff.
the supernatural.
No.
Yeah, there it is.
Because you
That's
can't
the
kill
word.
the supernatural.
You can. These movies teach you how.
Yeah, you got to throw garlic at it, right?
That's right.
Garlic.
You can kill a murderer. You can't kill the devil.
You got to have faith. Tony.
Amen.
Well said.
Amen.
they say.
You can beat that devil down, though.
You can.
You can beat that devil down.
Try.
The word of Christ.
Always going to be there, though. Always going to be looming. I think. From what I've
It's a
been told.
constant battle.
So you're watching one a night?
No, maybe one a
Yes.
week.
What's this week's? What's in store this week? Like
Ooh.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre or something?
No, that's a good question. I just watched one called Talk to Me.
Okay.
Where a
So
group-
you're doing like independent horror films.
Some of them.
It's
are
an
interesting.
A24 production. A24 makes some good movies, yeah.
They make scary movies?
They make all kinds, but they definitely make really good scary ones.
Happy Halloween to you.
Happy Halloween.
Nick came in one Monday with like 4 different scary movie recommendations too.
Yeah, there's a preview for a couple of them.
Yeah.
Are any of the new ones like scared? Do you get
Yeah.
scared?
Oh, yeah. There's some good jump scares. What are you looking at? You saw a preview. What
I'm
did
not
you look-
joking.
I don't remember. I,
I
didn't watch. As soon
look
as,
down.
as soon as it looks freaky, I'm like, I don't even want to know.
There is a new Exorcist one that falls along the lines of Tony was saying, where there's 2 kids who get possessed. That one looks off the chart scary.
That might have
What's
been
the name
one
of
you
that
saw.
one?
It's called like The Exorcist something. It's like a subtitle next to it.
I need something to download.
Yeah, that one sounds like the one.
Download that one.
Exorcist.
Believer.
What do you for your plane ride?
Yeah.
Yeah, this seems
Human
like
Centipede. Find the Human Centipede. That's a very scary one.
Meat spin.
I actually
Human-
heard Saw
human
10 is
centipede.
pretty
Meat
good.
spin's
Yeah, you can write it down. Human Centipede.
Human centipede, right?
Meat spin's
Watch
a
it
good
with
movie.
Trish.
How do you
Watch it
spell
with-
centipede?
CE. No.
Yes.
All right, so I'm not watching.
Two girls, one
If
cup.
any of these movies, that one was scary.
Glass
That
ass.
one was scary. That one caused.
That'll
one-
affect you for
That
years.
one caused the most amount of physical reaction out of my body than at any movie ever in the history of cinema.
Glass
So,
ass.
No,
What's that?
I don't know that one.
Okay.
I think it explains itself.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy I don't know that one. There's a lot of things I don't need to see.
I've never seen that one.
I'm pretty pumped that I have navigated through, although this new algo.
Yeah.
Hey, these algos are changing every month. Algorithm changing every month with new stuff popping up. I do fear that they're going to put some incredibly scary shit in my algorithm here over because Halloween, you got the Knicks of the world. Nick's looking at it. I'm friends with Nick. I follow Nick. Let me go ahead and pump this into Pat's thing, and it's like, oh, there's somebody dying. I don't want to see somebody dying. And then now I can't sleep all night. Thanks, algorithm. Let's figure it out.
Figure it out.
These late games too, I've noticed. Like even Spurs Mavericks, the commercials they're running at the 9:30
spooky
game. Yeah, much spookier than the Celtics Knicks at 7. So some of these late games, especially college football, you get a good 10 o'clock game in college football.
These games are going to 1:30, 2 a.m.
Exactly, and they're showing that's when they get the scary trailers in there for the companies.
Okay, well, let's enjoy the hell out of the Halloween season because you know what that means. Thanksgiving,
What?
and holidays,
What?
and New Year,
What?
and Super Bowl.
What?
That's right.
Oh, my God. We're almost there.
It's right around the corner.
Let's keep enjoying the hell out of it. Week 8 starts this evening on Amazon Prime. And although the Dude Perfect dudes will not be simulcasting, they will be in future weeks, which means that is great news for all of us. We think Amazon has done a fine job. And I think tonight there is a good game in store, even though it's double-digit spread in favor of the Buffalo Bills, who are at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Coach Chuck Pagano, you're 5-2 against the spread on these Thursday night football games.
Wow.
Coming off a loss, obviously that's going to happen. You have a little Dahn face.
Yep.
Jackson
Perfect.
Doveville in the back is living his best life. But 5-2 is an incredible record.
Yes, absolutely. It is.
We do not think you're cold at all. We still believe that the heater is all the way on for you, Coach. How do you view tonight's game, and who do you think covers the spread?
That's a lot of points.
A lot.
At 10 is gone.
Crazy as anything can happen.
10 is gone. 10 is gone.
9.5's everywhere.
So-
And there's a 9 at DraftKings.
Okay.
So if you take the Bucks on this show tonight, you get 9.5.
Yep.
Yeah, so they got a really good defense. Knox is out, third team tight ends out, so you're going to see a bunch of 3 wides for Buffalo. They got James Cook. Quarterback's been turning the thing over
a lot.
And they got a good I just don't know if they can overcome. I think Buffalo's going to win this game, but don't count out those Bucks. Don't count out Bolsey and Baker. Baker is 4-0 on Thursday night.
Whoa.
You guys know that?
Super smart. Super smart.
His record is 4-0. He's a little bit beat up, but he's a gamer. I just think 9.5, 10, whatever it is too much. And all the defensive injuries for Buffalo scare me. I just think the big guys in the middle, Ed Oliver may play, may not play, but Milano's out, White's out, Daquan Jones is out. They're trying to figure things out. So if you're Tampa, he's going to go in there and take – Diggs ain't catching anything. Take away Diggs. Let's heat him. Bolsey likes to heat him up.
Heat him. Send him.
Heat him up.
And you saw what New England did pressure-wise. I mean, Josh was running around the whole friggin' game, the whole game. And if he's got time, we know he can kill you. He can run the ball and all that kind of stuff. But I think I'm leaning. Not leaning. I'm going to take the points. Take the Bucks.
Okay.
All right, Chuck.
Hey, he got me believing in there. A lot of good points, a lot of sound points were made there about Baker Mayfield. Remember, we were introduced to Baker in the NFL, Cleveland Browns, Thursday night.
That's right.
It was electrifying when he got subbed in after a concussion, I believe, or something.
Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, I think it was a concussion where maybe he's coming back, maybe he's not coming back. I don't remember. Baker comes in, electrifies Cleveland. They're drinking beers because they had locks on all the coolers around the city until the Cleveland Browns would win. That's how we were introduced to him. Then you remember the Rams last year where he got there on Monday, learned the entire offense by Thursday, and Delton got a big-time win. Now, with the Bucks taking on the Bills, we heard Chuck say he likes the Buccaneers, and as he continued to talk, I started to like the Buccaneers. AJ, who do you like?
Yeah, it's tough. Chuck will make you rethink your decision if you're going against him before you hear him speak, but do we know what Vita Vea's situation is he playing?
Game time decision, they said.
Yep.
Okay, so Vita is going to go then. I assume he might give it a go, and I love what that guy can do. Yeah, give me Tampa plus 9.5.
Wow.
I hear you. That's it.
I mean, isn't it just a little thought? Like last week was just the exact opposite.
The sports books, bro.
Yeah.
They're expecting the Bills to.
Bills also barely beat the Giants at home the week before. Like, they haven't played well in a couple weeks here.
They can score 50 tonight, though.
Week
Never
before
know.
Well, they averaged 28.
Yeah.
We saw that on tailored tape earlier.
A week before was post-London, too. And we know they did not have a greatest trip to London.
Shit there, too.
Yeah, bro, they've been on a slide.
Yeah.
But for some reason, the book.
Jacksonville was there for 2 weeks straight and came home and won 2 back-to-back.
Yeah, they beat the Colts in one of those.
Only about 7 sacks, the Bucks.
That's pretty good.
They've only given up.
Really,
Baker
really.
doesn't. They don't. He doesn't get sacked because he runs around. He'll throw it in the dirt and do whatever. He doesn't get sacked, and he doesn't turn the ball over. And both teams can turn the ball over.
I did not think about this at all during program today.
Sure.
Talked to a lot of coaches.
Yeah, this whole week really.
Just trying to get better. I've not
This one snuck up on.
because this game. It's like it's a
Trust
good.
your instincts.
Huh?
Trust your instincts. That's all you got to do here.
No, that's not how it's been working with me for a long time with this sports gambling
Shot of destiny.
at all.
Just because
Could
last
come
week.
down to it.
Who do you think's going to win the game?
Buccaneers. Give me the Buccaneers
To win or
to cover.
okay.
I think it's gonna be a good game. So 9.5, way too many points for a really good game.
You think so?
10 points though, pretty good game still. But not at the end when it's normally 8. Normally 8. It's been 8 a lot.
Yeah.
In all these primetime games. So 9.5 is bigger than that. Sound selection by me. Yeah, give me the Buccaneers plus 9.5. I believe it too. I was on the Bills hard though before you guys started talking. I'd like to let you know that.
That's why. I mean,
Whoa.
sometimes you got to go with your gut. I know.
No way. Last year I went with my gut. Did you see what we did?
Yeah.
We went 0 for 50 last year.
Last week.
Last year. I mean, that was a whole gut thing.
Last week felt like there's too many obvious games and they were all wrong. This week, I feel like just because the NFL flips and flops sometimes, like this week it might be the exact opposite where all the heavy favorites just run away.
So the run that the Buffalo Bills have been on, the New England Patriots last week, not that big of a deal. Okay? Division rival. Bills got the book on Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I'm just going to say. I can kind of write. Before that, it was Giants?
Yes.
Yep.
Probably should have lost that game.
Yeah, that definitely.
14-7.
There was a little bit of a scene there at the pass interference, right? Allegedly.
That and the end of the first half.
14-9.
Yeah, where I forgot.
Coach Dayball knows them though.
You wanna know where-
Yeah, he does. Dayball
True.
was there.
True.
So there's back-to-back guys that know Josh and know everything about that offense.
And then London, they kind of all talked about how they were dragging from.
They
the
hated
travel.
it. It was
Yep.
very negative.
And then before that, it was Bills were rolling teams.
So maybe they just had a couple bad weeks. You know, maybe London put them in a little bit of funk. Just like whenever they're driving on the wrong side of the road, maybe they got flipped on the wrong side of the bed.
I mean, if you look at the second half of New England Buffalo, the Bills were much, much better.
How do you feel? You're looking at some stats right now over here about Buffalo or about the Buccaneers? What are you looking at right now?
Both.
All of them say Bucks for you? I mean, the research this guy has 4 pages.
You said you believed it, though. You already said you believed in your pick.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
but
not, no,
I
I'm
started
not
lying
changing.
to
I'm
myself.
just trying to give him some more.
You're on Bucks 9.5.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
AJ 100% on Bucks 9.5.
Yep. Book it.
All right, give me the Bills. I'll take the Bills.
All right. Okay. Good.
-9, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
take the Bills.
Like that black cat walked on that field, Giants, MetLife.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
The Bills-
Especially Halloween season.
Bills are really good. Like
People forget
I know they've struggled.
They
and
were.
obviously the
They were.
Patriots-
They're
gonna say,
just.
are
They're
they right
missing
now?
so many. There's something.
No, I like the Bucks defense a lot. Like in my head, I just saw Josh.
Oh, no.
Wait, what am I doing?
I literally
Hey.
just saw him and then I saw like the Bucks defense flying. They fly.
They do.
They go so fast.
So they faced a good tight end in what's his name, Laporta,
Yes.
with the Lions
great
a couple
tight end.
weeks ago, right?
Yes.
And he had like, and I'm thinking, okay, Kincaid. That's one of the things I'm looking at. What can hurt this Bucks defense? Could it be a tight end, middle of the field, right? He only had, I think he had 4 or 5 catches for 30-some yards, no tuds.
Last week.
Last week he had 75.
Yeah, last week he went
Last
off.
week he had his best week.
Oh,
He's-
Laporta?
No, Kincaid against the Patriots. It was the first
Knocked
week.
us out. This
Going
could
into
be his-
last week, though.
Yeah.
And that's-
National coming out party right now. Maybe tonight.
That's always his.
And that's
That
because
is.
Bill's taking care of who in that game?
Diggs, but he
Diggsy.
still ended up with a touchdown and good. He played
Well, did you
well.
see? I mean,
Is Chubb
I know.
flip flopping on us now?
no,
Yeah,
no,
you're
no,
gonna
no.
let Bills.
I'm building a case to try to get Pat back on
good.
board with that.
Sound like
Good.
On the Bucks. Back on the Bucks.
Yeah, coach is saying they defended Laporta really well because they shut him down that game, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but Dawson Knox not being there, right? What are they gonna?
They only got one tight end. We'll see if they bring one up from the practice squad so they can go 12 personnel. Otherwise, they're going to be in 21 and
Why are the
11 personnel.
Why are the
hole.
sports books saying 10 points?
I don't know.
Do you know what I
I
mean?
think it's because
Because of last week.
I think it's
Call
'cause
old buddy. Call Phil Mix buddy. What does he think?
they don't believe in the Bucks. I assume.
Billy Walters. We need to call Billy Walters.
No, you're thinking, hey, sucker, oh, yeah, everybody, God, I can get 9.5, 10 points in the buck. Hell yeah, I'm taking
That's
that.
what I'm thinking.
And then you think they're going to boat race them, right?
Bingo. That's what I'm thinking. This one feels.
And this is desperate times, call for desperate measures. Bucks need this.
Oh my God!
I know they both.
Bills need it more than the Bucks.
I think the Bucks also cook in a few points for being in Buffalo and then also in Buffalo on a short week.
Is this a Bildo game? It's not a Bildo game, right?
It's not a Bildo game.
Might be though. Halloween costumes, right? Will players be wearing costumes? Will fans be wearing costumes?
And Brady used to play for Tampa.
I didn't even think about
the coverage, right? Tampa can't. They can't run the ball. They've really struggled running it, right? So it's going to be Baker, it's going to be Evans, it's going to be Chris Godwin. That's if they're going to have to hit shots down. They're going to have to hit shots down the field because they're not going to be able to methodically move it down. But when you look at the Bills secondary right now, they've got the two, double-digit experienced safeties out there. But the corners, Dane Jackson and Teron Johnson he cost them the last game against New England. He jumps outside leverage on Gesicki. Jumps outside. There's nobody inside. Backer didn't come over to help, and he gives up that tutty. Mm-hmm. And I can see.
Hey, we're live right now. AQ. Yeah. Who do you like tonight? Do you like the Bucks or the Bills? The Bucks are. What's that?
Bills.
Okay. All right. Thank you,
quick.
AQ. You're the man.
So quick.
Thank you,
He's
buddy.
always so quick.
Appreciate you.
That should solidify.
All right, so I'm on the Bucks.
Yeah, gotta go Bucks.
I knew you were 2-9. He went right.
Yeah. Tone Diggs put it out in the world.
Yeah.
AQ did not deserve
Well,
it.
And that's his old boss. It's his whole team. And he coaches the center.
Yeah, he was coaching.
Hey, I just picked against you.
Hansy.
So you solidified. I've been really in a pickle here on whether or not I like the Bucks or the Bills. And
So because I stunk last week, you went the other way.
well, it's a trends thing.
Yeah.
It's always about a hot bat
What about
in sports
Hainsey?
gambling.
Thank you.
What about Hainsey? What, you don't believe in him?
He's playing below average, bud.
Does he know
We're live. Whoa. We're live right now.
It's all right. He's gonna pick it up tonight.
That's what we're talking about.
Okay.
That's good coaching.
God damn, I can't believe you did that to AQ.
They gotta run the ball tonight. If they want to win, they gotta run the ball.
They haven't been able to run the ball.
That's my point. That's why.
What are you coaching? You're either coaching or allowing.
That's where Vita Vea is going, Pat. Is Vita Vea going to go?
I'm home right now. I'm not coaching anymore.
Was Vita Vea playing or not?
Game time decision. That's a big if too.
Does Filer being out matter?
Can't stop the run either. That's the whole point of winning. Stop the ball. Stop the run. Run the ball. Right, Coach?
Hey,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, sir.
I would like to say to you, though, real quick, it's kind of fucked up of me just to automatically go the opposite of you because you went 2-9 last week.
Well, that's typically the way our relationship works. You pick LeBron, I pick Mike, you pick opposite. That's the way this thing works.
That's all right. You're going to get hot. This week's the week you get hot. All right, cheers, dude.
Yeah, I love the Bills now.
Why?
Because AQ was so bad last week.
See, that's a whole nother way to look at it. Is this guy not seeing the field at all, or is his time coming?
Boy, you are vacillating.
I am in a bad spot.
It's tough.
Baker and Josh are both undefeated as starters on Thursday Night
Whoa.
Football.
But Baker is 1-0 career against Josh.
Can he go 2-0 tonight?
Thursday
We
Night
find
Football.
out on Prime.
Yeah.
All right, Chuck, let's do a giveaway. I need some more time.
Chuck gonna putt?
I'm going with the Bucks.
Buffalo Bucks.
All right.
I'm going with
You want to go Bills, though, I can tell.
so bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
What if the Bills are up like 28-0 after the first quarter? You're going to be like, that's why I picked the Bills.
All right, give me the Bills.
Yeah,
I'm taking the
let's
Bills.
go.
Give me the Bills.
Come on.
I'll take the Bills minus 9.
Here we go.
Bills minus 9.
Got you.
Let's do this, Chuck. Me and you, Chuck.
All right. Good luck, boys. Okay, I hope you guys
Nate,
start
man.
undefeated. But if I do, it'd be sweet because that was a lot of banter.
Uh-huh.
And I'll tell you what, too much thinking is not good in this game. I just did the most thinking, so congrats to you guys, honestly.
Most thinking, but one with your gut.
You're right. At the beginning.
Yes.
It was all wasted thinking.
Bingo.
Hell yeah.
Let's go, Chuck.
And AQ won with the Bills too, right?
He did.
Mm-hmm.
So I took his opinion into account.
Absolutely.
And now time. What do you want to do? You putting? Throwing footballs? What do you want to do?
Don't putt.
He said don't putt. Too easy. What,
You
the
should
putting?
putt.
Yeah,
It's too easy to putt. Oh.
Too many people are putting.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's huck some football.
Here we go.
Chuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, back to it.
Come on,
Here we
AJ.
go.
What do you
There's
What do you
one.
want me to do? Since we're partners tonight,
Yes.
we both got the Bucks. What do you want me to do, AJ? What do you feel?
Chuck, I love to watch you putt, but I like to watch you slang that football as well. Look
Yeah.
like Johnny Unitas out there. So why don't you throw that football?
Hey, he can spin it. That is
Yeah.
something that he certainly can
Same
do.
age, too.
You going to this
Chuck,
hoop
what
or
kind of
that
shoes
hoop?
are those?
On clouds.
Oh, come on. I want to hear.
What?
We need bocce in here, so Chuck
Can't
can
hear
do
you,
some-
Chuck.
So Chuck can do
we
some
can't
bocce.
hear you.
Yeah,
Can't
we
hear
Can't
you.
hear you, man.
Can't hear you.
Gotta go to Mike.
Hear you, I'm sorry. Type of shoes.
On cloud.
I don't think that's right.
On cloud.
Cloud. I think.
Cloud.
Yeah,
On cloud.
Iron Claw.
I believe it was founded in Hawaii on clouds.
Is that right?
It's pretty big now.
I'm not sure.
I think they were found in Switzerland.
Trash can's
Isn't it
closed.
Fed-
Trash can's
Federer?
closed.
Is the bear still there? Try to hit the bear in the face or something.
That's pretty, kind of judgmental there on what's in the face and what's not in the face. It goes
Right in the
The
mouth.
snout. Hit him in the snout.
Someone called PETA.
Do you want to go to basketball hoop? Do you want to try to hit? No, because the rock's right behind the bear. So
True.
the rock
Don't do
will
that.
eat a ball.
What about
Probably.
the garbage can?
What do you want to do, Chuck? What are you thinking? Because I think it should be like 30 people.
Whoa.
Oh,
$500.
Oh, quick
You're throwing
point.
that hoop over there? Okay, 30 people. $500. All Chuck Pagano has to do is put a football into that hoop right over yonder. If he does, and you retweet this post and say something nice to somebody, you could be one of the 30 winners.
Oh, yeah.
30 winners.
Bucks for sure.
$500.
Give a couple more
All you
of
got to do is retweet this post, say something nice to somebody, and in that same reply,
Pretty good.
Look at that.
better than Gesicki
Yeah.
and Mac Jones. Drain a ball over there. 30 people, 500. Way to go, coach.
Hey, coach.
That's people's
Love
coach
you
right
guys.
there.
Hell yeah.
Retweet
Sorry,
this
Phil.
tweet, say something nice to somebody, and in that same reply, put the easiest way to pay you digitally. Thank you to all the coaches that joined us today. Coach Saban,
What?
Coach Artie Smith,
What?
Coach Bill Cowher.
What?
Big shout out to the legend CC Sabathia stopping by, and Chuck winning for the people. You all are the best. Tomorrow, we'll be live from the University of Utah out there in beautiful Utah.
Hell yeah.
Hey, I've seen some pictures. It looks like it's going to be glorious.
I'm excited.
So pumped.
I can't wait to see who's there. If anybody's there, if there isn't, we can't wait to do a program. If there is, we can't wait to say hello. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. Goodbye.